Chapter 837. The ancient Ming Divine Pagoda's super sanction was the superpower of the three god kings. When the three powers were stacked together, it created an absolute suppressive force. Demon God Sog's huge body was quickly destroyed. This power was much stronger than the heavenly lightning. The appraisal I clearly showed a terrifying battle power, 180 billion battle power. A total of 180 billion battle power. How could this not be exaggerated? This power was at least at the 4th or 5th level of the God King stage, which was enough to easily crush Demon God Sog. The power of this sanction could even continue to increase, and Demon God Sog could not dodge it. If not for the amazing armor on his body, he would have been severely punished by this terrifying power. Now, the situation was on the verge of collapse. So what if he had a middle-grade divine artifact? Under the power of the three god kings, he would not be able to resist for long. No wonder the power of this sanction can't be used too many times. The consumption is too great. If I use it continuously, the power of the ancient Ming Divine Pagoda will probably be sucked dry. Tianyun looked at the power of the sanction. It could be said that he had mobilized the power of the entire ancient Ming Divine Pagoda to attack. If he used it casually, the spiritual power inside would have been sucked dry. Therefore, he could not use it casually. Using it once a week was already quite a lot. If he used it more, he would not be able to use it anymore. At that time, he would not have any spiritual power left. Forget about using the sanction. He would not even have any protection. After a while, the light of sanction gradually disappeared. What appeared in front of him was Demon God Sog. His huge body was only left with his torso. The rest of his body had been destroyed by the light of sanction. He looked like he was on the verge of death. The medial grade god artifact on his body also cracked from the light of judgment. One of the medial grade god artifacts nearly broke. It had to be said that this power was really terrifying. The middle-grade divine artifact was almost destroyed. A divine artifact could be said to be quite difficult to maintain. It was almost destroyed by the light of sanction. Now it did not seem to be damaged, but it was not much different from being damaged. You did not die even after that. Your life is really tough. Tianyun came to Demon God Sog's side and looked at him coldly. If you have the ability, fight me alone. Demon God Sog's voice was weak. He was seriously injured. Even if his healing ability was strong, he could not recover in a short time. Now that he could speak, it meant that he was strong enough. Oh, you are talking about fairness now? If you have the ability, then lower your cultivation and fight us? I am not an idiot like you. Tianyun took out the evil spirit divine sword and stabbed him in the chest. Idiot. Go and meet your friends. After a while, I will let all your clansmen reunite with you. He did not wait for Demon God Sog to reply. The evil spirit divine sword in his hand erupted with its strongest power, instantly splitting Demon God Sog into several halves. Soon after, a few more bolts of lightning struck down, turning the corpse into dust. It was as dead as it could be. Before dismembering the corpses, he would still plunder them fiercely. The treasures of these fellows must not be wasted. Ding. Successfully killed Demon God Sog. Reward, 18. 4 billion EXP 400. 000 CPS 300. 000 SPs. Items obtained. Evil Spirit Soul, Evil Spirit Bone, Evil Spirit Blood. Evil Spirit Divine Sword, Evil Spirit Ring, and Evil Spirit Bracelet. There was no reward for killing someone of a higher level, but the experience gained was already terrifying. It had reached a terrifying 184 billion. He had spent a lot of money to buy 100 times experience cards, 80 times experience cards, and 50 times experience cards. In addition to the crazy mode's 32 times experience, it was a total of 262 times. He originally wanted to stack higher, but he really didn't want to sell the artifact in exchange for a 5 times experience card, or a 10 times experience card. The price was expensive, and the quality-price ratio was too low. Moreover, he has cleared too many things and spent most of his crazy point to exchange for these 3 EXP cards. Just the experience cards alone were enough to bankrupt him. However, he had no choice. In order to exchange for more experience, he could only do this. He had to break through his cultivation as soon as possible. As for leveling up his godly skill, he could only put it aside for the time being. Very good, continue. Etienne's eyes flashed, and he disappeared on the spot. In the next moment, he appeared on the 7th floor. There were still a lot of evil spirit race in the 7th floor, but they didn't choose to leave. They are still waiting for Demon God Suago to appear. Demon God Suate is dead, but there is still Demon God Suago. Therefore, they still have a bit of confidence, hoping that Demon God Suago can save them and protect them. Lord Suago can definitely protect us, even if that human kid becomes the Tower Master. He still can't do anything to Lord Suago. That's right, a mere human. How can he suppress our Lord Suago? At that time, Lord Suago will kill this so-called Tower Master and snatch the position of Tower Master. Yes. What Tower Master in front of Lord Suago? He is just a pile of garbage. They are full of confidence in Demon God Suago. Demon God Suago is a level stronger than Demon God Suate. Therefore, even if Etienne defeated Demon God Suate, it doesn't mean that he can kill Demon God Suago. The Lord Suago you are talking about, unfortunately, is dead. A voice came from the sky, making them look up and saw Etienne floating in the air. It's you. Impossible, Lord Suago can't be dead. You must be talking nonsense. How can Lord Suago die? None of them believe Etienne's words, still firmly believe that Demon God Suago is not dead. Whether you believe it or not, it has nothing to do with me. Judgment. Etienne didn't waste any time. The EXP card has a time limit. Even if it's a spirit refinement realm cultivator, he will not let go. The next moment, a huge light of judgment shrouded the entire 7th floor. Etienne suddenly judged all the living beings in the 7th floor. Even if they are humans, they will also be judged. Because the humans staying here is equivalent to colluding with them, Etienne will not let go of these traitorous trash. Doppelgangers. Etienne's figure flashed. Immediately 3 doppelgangers appeared. 4 Etienne rushed towards the evil spirit race. Each of them raised an evil spirit divine sword and crazily slashed forward. With a raise of his hand and a slash, an evil spirit race cultivator would die. Following that, a terrifying amount of experience points would continuously appear. Even if he was at the Spirit King stage, with 262 times the express, he would still be able to achieve great results. Ding! Successfully killed evil spirit race, 8th layer Spirit King stage, gaining 4.5 billion EXP, 30,000 crazy points, 12,000 SPS. Chapter 838. Successfully killed evil spirit race, 3rd layer Saint King stage. Reward, 18.4 billion EXP, 80,000 crazy point, 11,000 SPS. Successfully killed evil spirit race, 6th layer Spirit King stage. Reward, 11.000 SPS. Ding, successfully killed. A bunch of data popped up in Etienne's head. All of them were 100 million EXP 262 times. EXP was really crazy. If he continues like this, leveling up won't be a problem at all. Etienne didn't stop. He kept killing the evil spirit race. This move scared many evil spirit race people, and they ran down the stairs, but their speed is not as fast as Etienne, and as long as they stand guard at the edge of the stairs, no one can escape. Etienne won't let go of such a huge amount of EXP. Especially the trash evil spirit race people, he won't let them go. Accompanied by a burst of screams, and then disappeared, leaving behind a lot of EXP. The whole process didn't last long, and the massacre was over. After clearing the 7th floor, Tianyun began to rush to the 6th floor. He didn't stop at all, he went straight to the 6th floor. He doesn't have much time left in the EXP card. He can't waste this opportunity. He doesn't know if there will be a chance to earn a lot of EXP in the future, but he believes that after this wave, the powerful evil spirit race people in the ghost world will be basically gone. The situation in the heaven world will be better. There shouldn't be any powerful evil spirit race people. Because the 10 stars are staring at the heaven world, once someone with the evil spirit race bloodline appears, they will immediately attack. This is the difference between having a tool spirit and not having a tool spirit. Unless you hide in a corner, once you come out, you will be instantly killed. Therefore, there shouldn't be much of a problem in clearing this wave. After all, the largest heavenly netherworld divine kingdom has been destroyed by him. The largest external force has been beheaded, so the remaining forces are just some shrimp soldiers and crab generals. Tianyun will continue to distribute the necklace, and it won't be difficult to clean up the ghost world. With his identity as the Tower Master, and the power of the Phoenix race, it won't be difficult to clean up the ghost world. From the 6th floor, many cultivators saw Tianyun killing the evil spirit race people. Since Tianyun had changed the rules at will, their corpses would not be moved to the 7th floor. Instead, they would die on the spot. After being killed, he would reveal his true form. When the cultivators saw that they originally looked no different from them, but after death they revealed the characteristics of the evil spirit race, they were all shocked. However, this proved that Tianyun did not kill the wrong people. They were really all from the evil spirit race. After clearing the 6th floor, he proceeded to clear the 5th floor. Layer by layer, they quickly cleared the area. Basically, what everyone saw was a flash of light, followed by many corpses on the ground. His speed showed them what a real pagoda master was like. Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyun for successfully breaking through to 1st level God King stage. Finally, when he reached the 5th floor, he successfully broke through to the 1st level of the God King stage. The process was too difficult. After killing so many evil spirit race, he only reached the 1st level of the God King stage. 500 billion EXP compared to the first few hundred EXP or a few thousand EXP, the difference was terrifying. However, this was a matter of course. Even ordinary cultivators needed unimaginable resources to break through to the God King stage. Not only talent, but also countless resources to become a super strong cultivator. Broke through, Tianyun smiled, but his movements did not slow down. Instead, he moved more than 10 times faster than before, harvesting the lives of the evil spirit race at a faster and more terrifying speed. No matter where the evil spirit race hid, it was useless. Tianyun was able to find them easily and kill them easily. Finally, when he reached the 1st floor, the EXP card's time limit was up. However, Tianyun had already killed most of the evil spirit race. He did not know how many evil spirit race he had killed, at least tens of thousands of them. Is tens of thousands a lot? Of course not. However, they were too scattered, and the doppelgangers could not be maintained for a long time, so he could only kill them one by one. It took a lot of effort, but it was a waste of time. But even if it was a waste of time, he still had to kill them. Apart from this, there was no other way. Even for elders, the number of trials was limited. Only the pagoda master could eliminate them at will. Otherwise, he would have let the Phoenix race and ancient Ming race's descendants do it, and it would have been easy. However, he did not spend a lot of time, and it was all thanks to his cultivation breakthrough that his efficiency increased by more than 10 times. Die. Tianyun finally slashed down, and the last evil spirit race in the ancient Ming god pagoda died under his sword. It was done, it was completely done, all of the evil spirit race had been wiped out. It's finally over, Tianyun let out a deep breath. If they were all piled up together, half of them would probably die with one slash, and they would definitely all be dead after a few slashes. The overall situation was still acceptable, and the 262 times EXP was not wasted. It was perfect to use it here. If Demon God Swoat was killed together, it would be even more perfect. However, he could not have his cake and eat it too. Who told him to be so poor now? Big Brother E. When Fan Shueishuan and the others knew that Yi Tianyun had come to the first floor, they all rushed over. You guys came down, I have cleared all the evil spirit race here. Yi Tianyun looked at them and said, but what do you plan to do with me as the pagoda master? Now the most important thing was the position of the pagoda master. Should he continue to be in this position? Since the ancestor set the rules like this, then you have the qualifications to become the pagoda master. You will continue to hold this position, and you will lead our ancient Ming divine nation. Fan Hongda walked out respectfully. He was completely convinced by Yi Tianyun's power. The key was that the ancient Ming godly king had set the rules to allow the descendants of other godly kings to become the pagoda master, so they should follow their opinions. However, with Fan Hongda's ability, there was still no way for him to become the pagoda master, so the result was almost the same. They could only let Yi Tianyun become the pagoda master. Yi Tianyun looked at them, and their eyes were filled with determination, which meant that they were completely convinced by Yi Tianyun and were even looking forward to being led by him. With such a powerful cultivation, he could definitely rebuild the ancient Ming divine nation. After thinking for a while, Yi Tianyun nodded and said, all right, I will temporarily sit in this position. If any of you are qualified, I will choose to abdicate. Chapter 839. Since Yi Tianyun became the Tower Master, he began to change the rules, allowing the descendants of the ancient Ming to hold important positions. However, they didn't choose to drive them out, instead, they welcomed them to join. The ancient Ming divine nation is now in a great decline. Many people were captured and devoured by the evil spirit race, resulting in a sparse population. Therefore, they need to greatly expand the recruitment. As long as they meet the requirements, they can join. At the same time, the ancient Ming Divine Tower will be changed to allow anyone to enter and exit freely. However, the flame mark won't be given at will. Before, the evil spirit race couldn't easily go out, so they used this rule to lure more powerhouses to climb up. In the end, it's like a pig that is fattened step by step, and when they climb to the top, they will become their food. The rest of the things are handled by Fan Hongda. It has nothing to do with him. Although he is the Tower Master, he doesn't directly participate in the management of the ancient Ming Divine Tower. It's not that he doesn't know anything, but he is too lazy to manage it. He came to the Tower Master's palace and began to calculate the current loot. This time, he really got a lot of things, especially his cultivation level increased. It's almost time to open the upgrade gift pack. The most important thing to break through to a new great realm is to open the upgrade gift pack. Every time he breaks through to a new great realm, he will get good things. This time will definitely be no exception. This is the upgrade gift pack that can only be obtained after breaking through to the God King stage. If he only gets a few things, it will definitely be unacceptable. Open level 81 upgrade gift pack. Ding. Unlocked level 81 gift pack. Got 150 EXP card, 20 crazy point card, 20 sin value card, 50% discount coupon, store clear coupon, store clear coupon. Huh, that's it? Where's the upgrade gift pack? Yi Tianyun was dumbfounded. He got a lot of amazing treasures, especially the new EXP card, plus the shop clear voucher. These are all very good. Especially the shop clear voucher, it can reset the previous purchases. It means that the previous EXP card and so on will quickly return to the original price. This way, there won't be a situation where the price-to-performance ratio is extremely low. But when he saw that there is no upgrade gift pack, he was immediately dumbfounded. This is the reward after every level up. Why is it gone this time? No one answered him. There was only silence around him. Does breaking through to the God King stage mean that the gift pack is no longer given? Tianyun frowned, but he soon felt relieved. If he didn't get a gift pack, then he wouldn't have a choice either. However, he usually didn't count on the level-up gift pack to make him rich. Instead, he relied on the items dropped by the enemies he killed to make a fortune. If he had to rely on the level-up gift pack to make a comeback, that would be terrible. Shortly after, he roughly understood the current situation. When he saw the experience required to level up, he heaved a sigh of relief. There was no heaven-defying situation. Breaking through from the first level of the God King stage to the second level of the God King stage required 600 billion experience points. This was still acceptable, at least it wasn't double. If it doubled, he would be vomiting blood. However, 600 billion EXP was still a terrifying number. If he didn't use the multiple experience multiplier card, he didn't know how long he would have to kill. Successfully formed an alliance with Flower Sure Empire, gaining 3 billion EXP, 300,000 crazy point, 150,000 proficiency. Following that, the news of the successful alliance suddenly popped up, causing Tianyun to nod his head. It seemed like they were still working hard, but he did not know how long it would take for the evil spirit race to be completely eliminated. He believed that it wouldn't take too long before everything would be resolved. Ding, Divine General Hua Yutsai successfully broke through, gaining 800,000 EXP 10. 000 crazy point 5. 000 proficiency. Ding, Divine General Luo Shui successfully broke through, gaining 600,000 EXP crazy point. Ding! Godly General, this voice rang out again. As long as he broke through to the Divine Champion level, he would gain a large amount of experience. It had always been there, but it had been very common recently. As one's cultivation increased, the experience gained would naturally increase. There's nothing much to do for now. I should find something to do. He came to the front of the material room. There were many spiritual herbs inside, and they were all extremely precious. Among them, the soul-accumulating grass, which he liked a lot, could be found here. It's just that the experience gained now is really pitiful for him. Even if one could bring him 1 billion EXP, he would need 600 of them. 600 is not a lot, but the problem is there enough soul-accumulating grass? This is obviously not enough. There are at most a dozen in front of him. It's really not enough to fill his teeth. Proficiency, full alchemy expert. Ding, successfully consumed 10 million proficiency and 5 million sin points to upgrade to Grandmaster Alchemist Peak. Upgrading to a creator-grade alchemist requires 30 million proficiency points. Sin points can be used as proficiency. He doesn't need the sin set for the time being, so he should focus on alchemy first. Moreover, he now has enough sin points to buy other sets, but he can't afford the most powerful evil demon god set for the time being. Begin alchemy. Immediately, Tianyun began to refine alchemy crazily, refining all the materials that can be taken away. He needed pills that were at least at the 6th refinement level. What he needed now was to create a batch of powerful cultivators, especially the 12 valued hairpins, who were his main targets for nurturing. Then, he began to refine alchemy crazily, and the grade must not be low. Those that can reach the 7th refinement will definitely not refine 6th refinement pills. This is the purpose of him upgrading to Grandmaster Alchemist Peak Realm. To be able to refine high-grade pills, the effects will be more obvious. After refining day and night, Tianyun lost count of how many pills he refined. More than half of the spiritual herbs in the treasure vault of materials in front of him have been exchanged to refine pills. Anyway, he won't level down, only consume the value of the flame brand, so he exchanged in large quantities. After refining the pills, he began to refine the evil spirit race's necklace, just like in the mortal world, in order to find out all the evil spirit race, so that they have no place to hide. It's impossible to expect them to turn over a new leaf. They have always had a desire to invade, and they have always looked forward to their ancestors ruling the three realms, so it's impossible for them to surrender and turn over a new leaf. Unless their ancestral land is destroyed, they will not surrender. Chapter 840. The three realms would soon usher in an era of total cleansing. Tianyun had created a large number of necklaces and sent them to various regions so that they could completely eliminate the evil spirit race. The Netherworld was the most proactive. The millions of cultivators who had stayed in the ancient Ming Divine Pagoda had witnessed the evil deeds of the evil spirit race. They knew that this race could not be allowed to live. They would not feel at ease if they stayed by their side. They would not even know when they would be swallowed. It did not mean that the three realms was extremely safe. At least when you were poor, no one would do anything to you. When you did not cause trouble, no one would kill you out of boredom. The evil spirit race was different. When your cultivation level was high enough, you would not even know what was going on when you were not careful. At this time, there was a situation where the evil spirit race was completely suppressed. It was going very smoothly. Originally, Tianyun had planned to use the power of the Phoenix race to push things forward. It seemed that there was no need for that now. The many cultivators who stayed in the ancient Ming Divine Pagoda not only had high cultivation levels but also had some status. After they went out, the Netherworld was in an uproar. Then, it spread to the Heaven Realm and had a huge impact. When Tianyun learned about this, he was shocked. He did not expect such rapid progress. It was beyond his imagination. He did not expect the ancient Ming Divine Pagoda to be so influential that it could affect the entire Netherworld. The ancient Ming Divine Pagoda was located in a relatively remote area, but its influence was amazing. He felt very relieved when he knew that things were going in a good direction. At least he could be more vigilant. Then, he distributed the refined elixirs. Other than for the 12 golden hairpins, he gave the rest to Fan Hongda and the others. After all, he had taken the resources of the ancient Ming Divine Pagoda, so he would more or less return some. He was still the pagoda master, so he had to contribute some. In this state, several months passed. Combined with the necklaces that he had given, the Netherworld immediately began its cleansing operation. Evil spirit bloodline, evil spirit bone, evil spirit soul. There are a lot of these things in Tianyun's inventory, and they are marked with the word rare. This was enough to prove that these things were not simple and could be of great help. After he had some free time, he began to observe these materials. Evil spirit bloodline can be used as a material to refine godly items. After absorbing it, one can obtain the evil spirit bloodline. At the same time, it can be used as a material to make evil spirit puppets. Evil spirit bone can be used as a material to refine divine armament. It contains a lot of energy and can increase one's cultivation after absorbing it. It is extremely suitable for cultivators with darkness attribute constitutions. At the same time, it could be used as a material to create evil spirit puppets. Evil spirit soul can be used as a material to forge divine weapons. Absorbing it can strengthen the soul, suitable for dark attribute cultivators. One had to have a strong will to absorb it. Otherwise, it was easy to go berserk or go berserk. At the same time, it could be used as a material to create evil spirit puppets. These were all materials that could be used to craft divine artifacts. They could also be absorbed and cultivated. However, Tianyun had no interest in them at all. He would not absorb it. Such a dirty thing would pollute his body. However, he couldn't just throw it away. He would rather sell it to a store than throw it away. It would be too much of a waste to throw it away. Evil spirit puppet? This is interesting. He had a lot of ideas about making evil spirit puppets, but he didn't know what kind of evil spirit puppet he could make. It was a bit like the black dragon pet. After finding a lot of materials, it could be made immediately. It's just that his cultivation was breaking through too fast. Those previous pets could only be placed in the Empire as a guardian. If he brought them with him, they wouldn't be able to help him in battle. Of course, now they were extremely fierce. When he killed enemies, they could gain experience. After killing so many god kings, their cultivation also increased explosively. The lowest cultivation was at the Void Spirit stage, and the highest was at the Saint King stage. Logically speaking, it should be a little higher. However, because there were too many pets, the experience would be distributed, so there wouldn't be a shocking increase in cultivation. Therefore, pets at the Saint King stage were only a small part of the population, no more than a handful. Immediately, he began to fuse the three materials. Accompanied by a flash of black light, a figure appeared in front of him. It had 4 arms. Its cultivation had reached the Void Spirit stage 5th level. From the appearance, it really looked like the evil spirit race. It was basically the same as the evil spirit race. It was just that it wasn't alive, it was just a puppet. Tianyun can control the puppet's movement at will, and he can attack however he wants. After checking for a while, he found that there was a space inside the puppet that could accommodate him. This space was a bit similar to a living creature's space. It could accommodate a lot of people, so they could stay inside and control the puppet or hide from people. In addition, the puppet could use most of the martial arts of the evil spirit race. At least if it mixed with the evil spirit race, no one would find out that it wasn't their companion. This puppet is good. It can sneak into the ancestral land. Tianyun's eyes lit up. He didn't know where the ancestral land was. Moreover, with his current cultivation, how could he trample the ancestral land? For the time being, he had to deal with the things here first. This puppet is good, but its cultivation is too low. Tianyun thought for a while, and continued to take out the evil spirit blood and other materials. He threw them at the puppet and let it swallow them. Ding! Successfully swallowed the evil spirit blood, strengthened the evil spirit puppet's bloodline. Cultivation broke through to the Void Spirit stage 6th level. Ding! Successfully swallowed the evil spirit bone, strengthened the evil spirit puppet's strength and defense by 2 times. Ding! Successfully swallowed the evil spirit soul, strengthened the evil spirit puppet's soul. Able to use stronger martial arts. Each of them had different strengthening effects. If 3 of them were taken separately and combined, it would become a puppet. If the puppet swallowed them directly, it would greatly increase its strength. Bloodline could increase cultivation. Evil spirit bone could strengthen strength and defense. Soul could strengthen the power of martial arts. To choose between quantity and quality, the latter would undoubtedly be the former. Tianyun immediately threw the materials into the puppet, making it quickly improve in all aspects. Ding! Successfully swallowed the evil spirit blood, strengthened the evil spirit puppet's bloodline. Cultivation broke through to the Void Spirit stage 7th level. Successfully swallowed. Chapter 841. Ding! Successfully devoured evil spirit blood, cultivation strengthened to Saint King stage 7th level. Finally, after devouring all the materials, the cultivation of the evil spirit puppet reached the Saint King stage 7th layer, breaking through from the Void Spirit stage to the Saint King stage 7th layer. In the beginning, it only needed 1 evil spirit blood to advance a level, but later on, it needed 2 or even 3. When breaking through to the Saint King stage, it needed more than 10 evil spirit blood materials each time, which could be described as a significant increase. These materials were dropped by killing many evil spirit race before, but there was a requirement. Cultivation base must be at least at the Void Spirit stage. Lower cultivation base basically wouldn't drop. Previously, Yang Kai thought that it wouldn't be of much use. But now it seemed that it was more than useful, it was simply a super fighter. From the Void Spirit stage 5th level to the Saint King stage 7th level, if he continued to obtain materials, he could easily reach the God King stage in one go. Ordinary puppets were basically fixed after they were made, and it could be said that there was no way to improve them. Otherwise they would have to be remade, otherwise there would be no change. This puppet of his had the effect of increasing one's cultivation. If it could continue to be strengthened, there should be no end to it. The premise was that there were so many materials, otherwise there would be no way to improve it quickly. Not bad, not bad. Saint King Stage 7th level cultivation, combat power comparable to a peak Saint King Stage Master. Eteonyun reached out and patted the puppet. Even the flesh on it was so real that even if he faced an old ancestor-level master, it would be impossible for them to recognize it as a fake. In the future, if he continued to kill Evil Spirit Clan, he would definitely be able to train it into a fighter. Anyway, there was no bottleneck limit. This feeling was similar to the system. As long as he kept killing, he would be able to gain experience. As long as he had enough experience, he could level up. There was no such thing as a bottleneck. The problem was the number of kills. He believed that the evil spirit puppet would definitely need a lot of materials in the future, so even if it could be strengthened, it would not be so easy. Immediately, he equipped the evil spirit puppet with a divine artifacts set, which immediately gave the evil spirit puppet great combat power. Even if it faced a God King Stage Master, it would not dare to say that it could defeat him, but at least it would be able to resist for a while. This is really a surprise. Eteonyun nodded with satisfaction. As he continued to fiddle with it, he suddenly heard a pleasant sound. Ding! Main quest: unify the mortal world and eradicate all the evil spirit race in the mortal world. Reward: 40 billion points, 5 million crazy points, 500,000 SPS points. Furthermore, he has obtained a new title, King of the Mortal World. King of the Mortal World. Damage increased by 10 times in the mortal world. This frightening effect shocked him. This was the most powerful title he had ever seen. It could increase damage by 10 times. How could it not be powerful? The previous Reapers had only been able to double their damage, and that was already quite impressive. However, with the addition of 10 times damage, it was even more overbearing. The only flaw was that this effect only existed in the mortal realm. Eradicating the entire evil spirit race in the mortal world, Eteonyun was very satisfied. This was the work of many people. If not for so many people cooperating with him, it would have been difficult to achieve this result. The Heavenly Clouds Empire alone couldn't eradicate all the evil spirit race in the mortal world. The mortal realm was so vast, and most of them were hiding in the major forces. How much manpower would it take to search for them one by one? This result was only possible because of their unity. Ding! Successfully accepted the main quest, unify the netherworld and eradicate all the evil spirit race in the netherworld. Reward: 60 billion EXP, 6 million crazy points, 800,000 SPS. Also, you have obtained a new title, King of the Netherworld. It could almost be said that the mission was exactly the same. There were some slight changes in the data, but the main content was the same. Finally, it's going to happen. Eteonyun wasn't surprised. When there was a main quest to unify the mortal world, there would definitely be a main quest to unify the netherworld. After unifying the netherworld, there would definitely be a main quest to unify the heavenly realm until he unifies the 3 realms. This idea was no different from what he thought before. Even if there was no main quest, he would still choose to unify the 3 realms. All the high-level members come to the 9th floor to discuss a matter. Eteonyun's voice spread throughout the entire ancient underworld divine tower. Soon, Fan Hongda and Elder Yi of the Phoenix clan came to the 9th floor. Many of the Phoenix clan hadn't left yet. They were all cultivating here. The environment here was good, so it was impossible for them to leave immediately. Pagoda Master, what's going on? Fan Hongda and the others sat at the side and looked at Eteonyun. I want to unify the netherworld and eliminate all the evil spirit race at the same time, Eteonyun said simply. Unify the netherworld? They looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. No one had dared to say something like unifying the netherworld for many years. However, they now knew that Tianyun had the power to do so. Yes, but it's not a forceful method to suppress them and then completely submit to me. Instead, it's an alliance. We will be the alliance leader, and their king will be the representative of the alliance. Unless it's a critical moment, they won't interfere at all. Tianyun roughly explained the situation in the mortal world. After hearing this, everyone nodded. At first, they thought that it would be a forceful suppression, but now it seemed that they had thought too much. No problem, the elimination of the evil spirit race has been going on. If we ally with other god nations, there shouldn't be any problem. Fan Hongda and Elder Yi looked at each other and said with a smile, "If we ally with the Phoenix race, it will be much easier." Yes, the Phoenix race's prestige is very high, and now that you've become the pagoda master, it will undoubtedly increase our prestige. Even the number one god nation in the netherworld had to listen to you obediently. Elder Yi and the others were very respectful. Tianyun's cultivation was absolutely invincible, and he was the only god king in the three realms. Who would dare to disrespect him? Then I'll leave it to you. If there's anything that you can't handle, you can let me handle it myself, Tianyun said lightly, causing them to tremble. If Tianyun comes out personally, he won't be able to solve it with words, but with force. If it was necessary, Tianyun would definitely use force. He was determined to unify the netherworld. If it was possible to unify the netherworld with words, then there would be no cultivators to speak of. When it was time to use force, they would not hold back. Soon, they quickly left to carry out their plan. There was no difference between the mortal world and the netherworld, they had to unify the netherworld. Mainly the god nations, followed by the empires. The forces below the empires were not needed. Chapter 842. Tianyun didn't do anything else, he just stayed here and cultivated, or did some alchemy and so on. The main point was to refine more evil spirit necklaces. In the future, the heavenly world will definitely need them. During this period, a lot of information popped up crazily. Successfully formed an alliance with Huaqing Divine Kingdom. Reward: 15 billion EXP, 500,000 crazy point, 1 million proficiency. Successfully formed an alliance with U City Divine Kingdom. Reward: 5 billion EXP, 480,000 crazy point, 950,000 proficiency. Successfully formed an alliance with. It's only been a few days since the Heavenly Clouds Empire left, and the major forces have already formed an alliance. Tianyun was now a tower master, and that was enough. Forming an alliance with him was equivalent to forming an alliance with the Heavenly Clouds Empire. There was no difference between the two. Therefore, Tianyun's experience kept skyrocketing, whether it was a divine kingdom or an empire. After knowing that they were going to form an alliance, they all joined the alliance. The effect was unexpectedly good. It was like an alliance that had been waiting for a long time. Once it was announced to the outside world, many forces rushed over. Basically, there were several forces joining every day, and there were even more than 10 forces joining at once. Tianyun's experience naturally increased. The main source of experience was in the Divine Kingdom. There were tens of billions of EXP in the Empire. Hundreds of billions of EXP immediately piled up. Tianyun felt that if he continued like this, he should be able to level up by the time he conquered the ghost world. At the same time, the 12 golden hairpins went out to cultivate. When they were in the mortal world, they have been focusing on killing the evil spirit race, so there was no difference in coming to the ghost world. Especially when their cultivation increased greatly, they were more confident in dealing with the evil spirit race. As long as they didn't face a super strong Spirit King stage cultivator, they should be able to deal with the evil spirit race. It's almost time to go back. Immediately, Tianyun's figure flashed and disappeared in place. The next moment, he appeared in the Heavenly Clouds' imperial capital. He didn't use the heaven-ascending divine altar or the passage, but directly used the teleportation divine stone. In the blink of an eye, he arrived here. This thing was really useful. It was very effective in emergency support. After coming out, Tianyun looked around and suddenly saw a scene. In the conference hall of the Heavenly Cloud's imperial capital, the huge table was filled with people. Everyone's cultivation was amazing. The lowest was at the Void Spirit stage, the highest was even at the Saint King stage. Yang Kai hadn't expected that there would be a Saint King stage master here, but this Saint King stage master looked extremely old, obviously an old man who had appeared out of nowhere. Although there were quite a lot of restrictions here, and many experts had to leave once they reached a certain level of cultivation, there were some people who could avoid it. For example, this old man's cultivation was not low, but due to his lack of vitality, the rules could not interfere with him. To put it bluntly, he was about to die, so he shouldn't let him do whatever he wanted. Even so, this old man could still live for a long time. At least, he could live for a few more years or even decades. The other experts were very respectful to this person and kept flattering him. On the contrary, Shi Shuiyun, who was sitting at the top, became a supporting character. She sat at the side and looked over coldly. Today is the first time for everyone to sit here. First of all, I am very grateful to you for forming an alliance with our Heavenly Cloud's empire. Shi Shuiyun sat here and spoke. Her voice was sonorous and powerful, resounding throughout the conference hall, so as to draw attention to this side. Of course, how can we not give face to the Heavenly Cloud's empire? We will naturally fulfill the request of the Heavenly Cloud's empire, but why did you summon us here this time? That's right, we came from thousands of miles away. Why didn't the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor greet us here? Everyone was extremely dissatisfied. Even though Tianyun was famous, there were still many great emperors who were not convinced. This time, Shi Shuiyun summoned all the great emperors, and they were very dissatisfied, especially when they didn't see Tianyun. Instead, they saw a woman sitting at the top. As men were superior to women, it was very uncomfortable for them. They were all great emperors, so why did they let a woman come to greet them? Even the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor had to stand up. In particular, Shi Shuiyun's cultivation was not as good as them. After a long time of cultivation, her cultivation had already broken through to the Spirit King stage. But in the face of so many great emperors, she was still far behind. But in terms of age, they didn't know how much stronger she was compared to them. But no one cared about age, they only cared about the current cultivation and status. They didn't care about anything else. For example, if you might become a god king in the future, but your current cultivation is lower than me, I can kill you with a single slap. The Heavenly Cloud's great emperor is busy now, so I am here to greet you. Shi Shuiyun explained. So, are you the current steward? Someone immediately stood up and asked. Yes, I am in charge of the Heavenly Cloud's empire now. Is there a problem? Shi Shuiyun asked. The Heavenly Cloud's empire is actually controlled by a woman. You must be the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor's woman, right? One of the great emperors asked sharply. Yes, Shi Shuiyun said indifferently. I don't know what the problem is. She was expressionless and did not lose her composure because of this sharp question. She remained calm and collected. There is no problem. So, if the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor is not here, you will be in charge of us? One of the great emperors asked. Yes, that's what I mean. Shi Shuiyun said indifferently. This is the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor's idea. He said that I will be in charge, and the other ministers of the Heavenly Cloud's imperial capital will assist me. Most of the people around her were women, including Yue and the others. Each of them was a very capable woman. Under their management, the Heavenly Cloud's empire was in good order, and it was getting more and more prosperous. Tianyun didn't use people just because they were close to him, but because they had the ability. If they didn't have the ability, they could only stand aside. Just you women? Many of the great thearchs were shocked. How could this be? They didn't think there was anything wrong with the ambassadors who came to form an alliance. But now they found out that there was a big problem. It turned out that they were all controlled by women, which obviously made them unhappy. Men were superior to women, and women had to stand aside. What's wrong with us women? Sir Shuyun's eyes turned cold. Can't we give orders just because we can't do things well? Chapter 843. 3 women were enough to make a show. Now that there were a lot of women, they would be able to rule the entire empire. When the Heavenly Clouds Empire first started, it was ruled by a group of women, and many people were unhappy about it. But as time passed, they realized that Sir Shuyun and the others had handled the situation perfectly. They had handled it much better than them. They were quite capable. Not only did he handle things perfectly, but his cultivation was also higher than theirs. What was there to be unconvinced about? As long as they managed them well and made them stronger and stronger, they were willing to do anything. Now, the problem had shifted to the great emperors. They didn't like being ordered around by a bunch of women. They wanted to follow Yi Tianyun's orders, not a bunch of women. In their opinion, this was simply child's play. The Heavenly Cloud's great emperor actually let a bunch of women control the power? Isn't this a joke? Women can give orders, they can control power. But we have so many empires. Do you think you have the ability to manage us? One of the great emperors said aggressively. Besides, we are only forming an alliance because of the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor, not because of you. It's impossible for us to listen to your orders. That's right, it's impossible. Even if we listen to orders, we have to listen to Old Ancestor Tianzhong. Old Ancestor Tianzhong is a person of virtue and prestige, and his cultivation is the highest among us. If the Heavenly Cloud's great emperor wasn't here, the alliance would definitely listen to Tianzhong Old Ancestor. No, you can even say that the alliance leader should be Old Ancestor Tianzhong. Yes. For so many years, Old Ancestor Tianzhong had been in seclusion. In the past, his fame had spread far and wide and he could oversee a region. Recently, he has come out of seclusion again. It should be the time for the Tianzhong Empire to rise, right? I think so. Old Ancestor Tianzhong should be the alliance leader. Heavenly Cloud's great emperor is strong, but in terms of seniority, Old Ancestor Tianzhong is a bit older. One by one, the topics of discussion turned to Old Ancestor Tianzhong. They felt that the old man who had been sitting there all this time should be the alliance leader. Although Yi Tianyun's strength wasn't bad, and he could slaughter the entire empire by himself, but the situation was different now. This old man was a Saint King stage powerhouse. How could the emperors of the other empires not kneel down and lick his boots? If one's cultivation was too high, they would have to leave. Therefore, those who were too strong could not stay here. The fact that Old Ancestor Tianzhong could stay here didn't make sense. No matter how he did it, they didn't want to offend a Saint King stage master. Old Ancestor Tianzhong maintained his smile. He didn't say a word and just sat there listening to them. Sir Shuyun glanced at them coldly. She felt that they were not gathered here to scout for information, but to usurp the throne. They had worked so hard to form an alliance. If Old Ancestor Tianzhong really became the leader of the alliance, wouldn't it be the same as working for someone else? This was something that Sir Shuyun and the others were definitely not willing to do. It could be said that they strongly opposed it. They had spent so much effort and resources to form an alliance. Why did they let Old Ancestor Tianzhong take the position of the alliance leader? They didn't know where this old man came from. Perhaps he saw that the situation had stabilized and wanted to come over to reap the benefit. This kind of treacherous villain was not rare, and they preferred to sit back and enjoy the fruits of others' labor. When we first formed the alliance, we made it clear that our Heavenly Cloud's empire is the leader. Usually, we won't ask you to do anything, but at critical moments, we'll definitely make the decisions. Shirshirian coldly said, "Don't tell me you have forgotten the agreement we have made before? I'll call you Empress Emperor." "That's right, but there's a saying that the strongest person should be the leader." One of the great emperors pointed at old ancestor Tianzhong and said, "Old ancestor Tianzhong has the highest cultivation and is highly respected. I don't think it will be a problem for him to sit on the alliance leader's position. When the time comes, we can also listen to old ancestor Tianzhong's orders." "Yes, Empress Emperor, what you said is wrong. We just want to choose a stronger person to sit on the alliance leader's position. We don't want you to give us orders." "Yes, we don't want to. If it was the heavenly cloud's great emperor who gave the orders, we could accept it a little bit. But now that old ancestor Tianzhong has more authority, we are more willing to follow old ancestor Tianzhong's instructions. Yes, the alliance leader should be old ancestor Tianzhong. If the heavenly cloud's great emperor is the deputy alliance leader, we have no objection. The combination of the two swords will definitely make us more glorious." One by one, they nodded as if they had discussed it in advance. He couldn't believe that they didn't discuss it before. They must have seen each other on the road and discussed it before coming here. Otherwise, how could they have such a tacit understanding? Only old ancestor Tianzhong didn't speak, as if this matter had nothing to do with him. "Enough," Shirshirian said coldly. "The heavenly cloud's empire is the leader, and this matter can never be changed. Now you want to go back on your words? If you want old ancestor Tianzhong to be the deputy alliance leader, we have no objection, but if you want him to be the alliance leader, it is absolutely impossible. There is only one alliance leader, and that is the heavenly cloud's great emperor." She said it resolutely and decisively. No one could change her mind. The others looked at them coldly. They didn't expect that they would go back on their words, so how could they not be angry? "Little girl, don't be so angry. This old man has been in seclusion for a long time. I don't think there is anyone in the mortal world who knows about this old man, but since I have come out of seclusion, there are some things that should be handed over. I will rule the alliance, and I should be able to control it better than the heavenly cloud's great emperor. But the heavenly cloud's great emperor is still young, and he can control such a huge empire. This old man still agrees with this, but this old man has more experience than him, and I want to take charge of the alliance more safely. This old man can't live for too long, and I want to assist the heavenly cloud's great emperor in the last bit of time." Old ancestor Tianzhong spoke at this time. His words were very calm, but the content was outrageous. It was simply taking advantage of his seniority. In the end, he just wanted to be the alliance leader, and he just came out of seclusion, and he already wanted to be the alliance leader. Especially when he said that he wanted to assist the heavenly cloud's great emperor, it was better than singing. Shirshiyun and the others' faces were ugly. Their previous agreement was meaningless, and it was basically equivalent to being abolished. When they wanted to say something, a figure slowly walked in from outside the door and said indifferently, "Oh, there are so many guests here today. I wonder if you can talk to me about what is going on?" Chapter 844. The appearance of Tianyun made Shirshiyun's eyes light up. Originally, they wanted to fight with them, and if it didn't work, they would use force. Even in the face of a Saint Kingmaster, they didn't fear him at all. The divine beast protector who stayed here was already very powerful, but it was still resting in the palace. It wouldn't come out unless it was a critical moment. If there was no divine beast protector, they wouldn't compromise. This was a matter of dignity and principle. At first, when they got the benefits, they all nodded and bowed, but now they let Tianzhong old ancestor be the alliance leader? No matter who it was, they would be furious. Heavenly Cloud's great emperor! The ministers around Shirshiyun stood up, including some great emperors who supported Tianyun. Renlong was here before, but the situation was too serious. Too many great emperors were willing to stand on Tianzhong old ancestors' side, so their voices were too weak to refute. There were dozens of forces here, and most of them supported Tianzhong old ancestor, so how could they not feel helpless? Originally, they wanted to have a good meeting, but it turned into a plot to usurp the throne. Tianzhong old ancestor didn't stand up to greet them, but they all looked at Yi Tianyun. This time, they supported Tianzhong old ancestor, so their attitude towards Yi Tianyun was not good. You are the heavenly cloud's great emperor? Tianzhong old ancestor looked at Yi Tianyun up and down, and his eyes flashed. As expected of a young hero, you are already a great emperor at such a young age, and your strength can even rival several empires. I have to say that our generation is really old. Yi Tianyun didn't bother to pay attention to him, and he went straight to Shi Shuiyun and smiled at her, telling her not to worry about him. Shi Shuiyun nodded. She wasn't worried at all. When Tianzhong old ancestor saw that Yi Tianyun didn't respond to him, his eyes flashed with anger, and he felt very uncomfortable. He was a Saint King stage powerhouse, but he was ignored by Yi Tianyun. Then, Yi Tianyun sat down and glanced at them indifferently. He said indifferently, "Didn't the agreement clearly state that I will be the leader of the alliance? As for whom I appoint to manage it, that is my own business. It's already stated in the agreement. It's not like it wasn't made clear." Before signing the agreement with them, he had indeed made it clear. Yi Tianyun was definitely the alliance leader. Shi Shuiyun might not be the vice-alliance leader, but her authority was equivalent to that of the vice-alliance leader. If Yi Tianyun wasn't here, Shi Shuiyun would be in charge. If there were more than one vice-guild master, the problems raised could be discussed together. This was not a problem. Now, a group of people had signed an agreement and even received benefits. Now, they were saying that someone else should be the alliance leader? Wasn't that a joke? Heavenly Cloud's great emperor, we have read the agreement, and it is true. But that was before old ancestor Tianzhong came out of seclusion. Now that he has come out of seclusion, I think old ancestor Tianzhong is more suitable to lead us in the mortal realm. Yes, I agree with this point very much. One by one, they agreed that old ancestor Tianzhong was the most suitable person to lead them. Old ancestor Tianzhong smiled with satisfaction. This was his home field, not Yi Tianyun's home field. As I said, this is the content of the agreement. Yi Tianyun gently knocked on the table and said indifferently, "If you don't abide by it, I will give you a chance to return all the things back. As for the martial arts we gave you, please abolish your cultivation." Yi Tianyun's tone was calm, but his words were extremely domineering. Then, they immediately exploded, and one by one, they immediately objected. "This is impossible. We are doing this for the sake of the alliance. We are not against this agreement. It's absolutely impossible for us to return it. Yes, we are all thinking for the sake of the alliance, but we didn't expect to be treated like a dog. We will never agree with this, especially when we are being led by a group of women. We are even more unwilling." They strongly objected, and with the support of old ancestor Tianzhong, their confidence was naturally not weak. I don't want to repeat myself. My words are absolute, and I don't need you to help me correct them. I will give you two choices. Either you obey or you return the things. It's that simple. Yi Tianyun said coldly. He was too lazy to talk about reason. To put it bluntly, he just wanted old ancestor Tianzhong to be the alliance leader so that he could obtain more benefit. How could he not know what he was thinking? What seniority? All that was **T, young man, can you know what you are doing? As an alliance, you should listen to the majority. This is what an alliance leader should do. Young man, you still have many things to learn." Old ancestor Tianzhong looked at him and said calmly, "The position of alliance leader isn't suitable for you. You should be the deputy alliance leader and learn from me for a period of time." Old ancestor Tianzhong lost his patience and was starting to feel unhappy. He chose to force Lin Fan. I'm sorry, but I won't listen to the opinions of the majority. I always say 1 is 1 and 2 is 2. If you don't listen to my orders, can you get out of here? Yi Tianyun's words were full of extreme arrogance. Heavenly Cloud's great emperor, you are too arrogant. Even if you are young and strong, you don't have the qualifications to be arrogant in front of old ancestor Tianzhong. That's right. Don't be too arrogant. Old ancestor Tianzhong cares about you and wants to train you well, but I didn't expect you to not appreciate it. Anyway, we will support old ancestor Tianzhong. If Heavenly Cloud's great emperor doesn't agree, then please leave this alliance. They were more arrogant than the other. The alliance was originally formed by Yi Tianyun, but now they were driven away. Get out of here! Yi Tianyun spat out a word coldly, and a violent shockwave swept across the great emperors who opposed him, including old ancestor Tianzhong, and they were immediately sent flying by the shockwave, and each of them vomited blood from the impact. Renlong was dumbfounded. He just spat out a word, and so many people were sent flying? The most important thing was that old ancestor Tianzhong was a Saint King stage cultivator, yet he was sent flying? One by one, they slowly climbed up, and their hearts were filled with shock. How could Heavenly Cloud's great emperor be so powerful? Old ancestor Tianzhong was also dumbfounded. He didn't even have the ability to resist? Kneel. Yi Tianyun spat out another word, and a terrifying pressure pressed down on them, forcing them to kneel on the ground again. The terrifying power made them unable to stand up, and they were forced to kneel on the ground, including old ancestor Tianzhong. It seems that you don't want to listen to my orders. Very good. Yi Tianyun said indifferently, relying on a garbage Saint King stage cultivator, you dare to be arrogant in front of me? I really don't know how stupid you are. In Heaven World and Ghost World, a mere first-layer Saint King stage cultivator is like a cabbage on the street. It's not interesting at all. Chapter 845. Killing a Saint King stage expert was as easy as killing a chicken or a dog. Now, he could even kill a God King stage expert easily. This old ancestor Gui Tianzhong was like a piece of garbage in front of him, especially when he was still at the first layer of Saint King stage. With his current cultivation, the first level of the Saint King stage was not much better than the initial body refining stage. Now that a group of people was kneeling in front of them, many great emperors who supported the Heavenly Cloud's empire wiped their sweat. Fortunately, they were strong-willed. If they really chose to stand on the side of old ancestor Gui Tianzhong, they would be dead. Now that a group of great emperors was kneeling in front of them, they couldn't get up even if they wanted to. They could only choose to kneel or lie down. Whether it was lying down or kneeling down, it was extremely humiliating. Yi Tianyun didn't care about their thoughts. They were already lucky that they didn't kill them immediately. What qualifications? What's for your own good? It's all bullshit. Whoever has the bigger fist is the king. Moreover, Yi Tianyun wasn't a tyrant, and he knew how to deal with the affairs of the empire. However, Yi Tianyun wasn't a tyrant, and he knew how to deal with the affairs of the empire. If he had to do everything himself, he would have died a long time ago. Or, he would have died a long time ago, but because his cultivation level was too low, he was killed by the enemy. This was the true cruel reality. If one focused on ruling their own empire and focused on governing it, they would also fail if their cultivation did not increase. Without an expert to take charge of the empire, no matter how good the management was, it was meaningless. Cold sweat broke out on old ancestor Tianzhong's forehead. He finally knew what kind of existence he was fighting against. Just the aura alone was enough to suppress him. This meant that Yi Tianyun's cultivation level was at least at the 8th layer of Saint King stage. Otherwise, how could he suppress them with just his aura alone? There were so many Spirit King stage experts here, but Yi Tianyun suppressed them all at once. Heavenly Cloud's great emperor, we were wrong. We were just blinded by greed. We didn't want to go against you. Yes, that's right. We never thought of going against you. We just wanted to do something for the Alliance. We are absolutely loyal. We will fulfill our previous promise and abide by the agreement. One by one, they rushed to admit their mistakes. They were willing to let old ancestor Tianzhong become the Alliance leader mainly because old ancestor Tianzhong's cultivation was too strong. Of course, they would prioritize those with strong cultivation. Even if Yi Tianyun really knew how to run a country, they were willing to let old ancestor Tianzhong be the Alliance leader. Cultivation was the only thing that mattered. What about being good at governing a country? What about being good at scheming? I can kill you with a single slap. Yi Tianyun ignored them. He turned to Shi Shiyun and said, "You can continue. I will listen to your meeting. Heavenly Cloud's great emperor, since you are back, you should be the one to preside over the ceremony." Yue said respectfully, "I don't even know what you guys want to talk about. I've always been a hands-off boss. You guys should handle things," said Yi Tianyun. "Okay, let's start talking about the evil spirit race." Shi Shiyun nodded. In this regard, Yi Tianyun didn't know as much as them, so she could only listen from the side. Immediately, Shi Shiyun said one by one. In general, she talked about which corner they didn't go to and how the evil spirit race was dealt with. She also talked about the layout of the various empires. Everything was arranged in an orderly manner, and there were no problems at all. The group of great emperors on the side could only listen, and the more they listened, the more shocked they became. Because the work Shi Shiyun and the others talked about could be said to be quite perfect, much better than the ministers on their side. The ministers on their side didn't say what to do, they just indulged in all kinds of entertainment or all kinds of idle time. They never did a good job in any aspect, they just waited for orders. If they were not here one day, they would at most stay the same. Unlike Shi Shiyun's side, they knew where to expand and where to strengthen. Especially since they were a group of women, the things they needed to manage were indeed beyond their imagination. They could only kneel on the side, silent, and afraid to speak. They were worried that if they disturbed Shi Shiyun's meeting, they would be slapped to death. Tianzhong, old ancestor, didn't know what to say now. His heart was full of fear, and he was very worried that he would be slapped to death by Yi Tianyun. He had finally come out of seclusion and broken through to the first stage of the Saint King stage, so how could he be willing to die like this? Soon, their meeting ended, and the group of great emperors on the side just knelt on the side until now. The other empires on the side wiped the sweat in their hearts. So many great emperors just knelt on the side and listened to them talk, no one would believe it. The only one who can do this is Yi Tianyun. "Tianyun, what do you think of our plan?" Shi Shiyun looked at Yi Tianyun and asked with a smile. Yi Tianyun squinted his eyes and listened. When he was asked, he smiled and replied, "It's perfect. If I were in charge of the Heavenly Clouds Empire, it would have already collapsed. You guys did a good job, and I will leave the mortal world to you in the future." Yi Tianyun didn't want to be involved in politics. Shi Shiyun looked at him, her beautiful eyes showed a look of "I understand you," and they nodded in agreement. However, what should they do with the great emperors now? Let them kneel on the side? Yi Tianyun turned his head and looked at the great emperors kneeling on the ground. They all showed an apologetic and flattering expression. They were afraid that Yi Tianyun would slap them to death. "I gave you 2 choices before, and now I will give you 2 more choices." Yi Tianyun looked at them and said indifferently, "The first choice is to sign a slave oath. Generally, I won't let you do anything unless there is something important. The second choice is to die. My patience is limited, and if you think about it for too long, I will accept the second choice." Yi Tianyun's answer shocked them. They thought that Yi Tianyun wouldn't let them go. After all, there were so many great emperors here, and each of them had a high status. Now, a single sentence had scared them out of their wits. They could either become slaves or die. There was no third choice. Their intestines were green with regret. They believed that Tianyun would definitely kill them without hesitation. The top-ranked empires were gone, and it wasn't a problem for Tianyun to kill them. Chapter 846. Tianyun's two choices, not to mention them, even he was deeply shocked. He couldn't help but feel that his great emperor was domineering enough. Thinking about their previous treatment, even if they compromised in the end, it was possible that their power would be taken away. Thinking about it, they felt very angry. They had clearly paid a huge price to establish the alliance, but now they were being reaped by others. How could they tolerate this? They all knew Tianyun's personality. He was clear about rewards and punishment. Since these fellows had done such a thing, they had to pay the price. That was for sure. Only then would they be obedient. As for these white-eyed wolves, if they didn't swear to work hard, they would rather be killed. In the future, it might be a disaster. It was very likely that when the evil spirit race attacked, they might change sides. I am willing to swear a slave oath. Immediately, a great emperor expressed his stance. They didn't want to die. Who asked them to stand on the wrong side? This was the result of standing on the wrong side. I am also willing to swear a slave oath. Me too. With one person standing up, there was immediately a second person who was willing to stand up. They could only bite the bullet and swear a slave oath, hoping that Tianyun wouldn't make them do anything. However, if they did, it would be equivalent to becoming the Empire's puppets. But there was no other way. They didn't want to die. When one by one they stood up to sign the slave oath, some people began to struggle and resist. I am not willing to swear a slave oath. I will definitely not become a slave. Even if I die, I am not willing to become a slave. If you really kill us, you will become a tyrant of the world. Bam! Before the great emperor could finish speaking, he turned into a pile of blood mist that scattered in the air. He died without even a trace of his body remaining. He didn't hold back at all and killed without any hesitation. Tyrant? This isn't a problem with tyrants at all. If you didn't provoke me and make me unhappy, do you think I would do this? I have allied with you with all sorts of resources, but now all of you are going against me. Sparing your lives is already giving you face. Tianyun said indifferently, if you really want to call me a tyrant, I have no objections. It's better than being called a cowardly great emperor. Tianyun didn't care about his reputation at all, especially when he really listened to them. On the contrary, he was polite to them. That wasn't his style. This scared the other martial emperors who were a little reluctant. They quickly agreed and said they would swear a slave oath. Old ancestor Tianzhong said in a deep voice, I am also willing to make a slave oath. In the end, he still chose to lower his head. Lowering his head to an expert was not something to be laughed at. The difference between the two of them was too great. Choosing to lower his head was not laughable. No, I'm not interested in making you my slave, Tianyun said indifferently. What? Old ancestor Tianzhong was dumbfounded. It wasn't easy for him to make the slave oath. This was a lifetime of humiliation. Didn't you hear me clearly? I'm not interested in making you a slave. This time you will die. Tianyun said indifferently. The other great emperors were dumbfounded. Tianyun was a Saint King stage expert, and it was definitely worthwhile to make him a slave. Tianyun's action is undoubtedly equivalent to being too arrogant, isn't it? I am a Saint King stage expert, and you still don't want to use me? Old ancestor Tianzhong couldn't believe his ears and wondered if he heard wrong. A Saint King stage expert? Tianyun sneered and said, a Saint King stage expert is indeed good, but you just showed killing intent towards me. This alone is enough to make you not qualified to be my slave. I will never let go of those who show killing intent towards me. Now everyone understood what was going on. In the end, old ancestor Tianzhong was too greedy for power, and he even showed killing intent towards the heavenly cloud's great emperor. Aye. Old ancestor Tianzhong thought for a moment and said unwillingly, I have already made a slave oath. No matter what I do, I can't do anything to you, right? I dare say that in the mortal world, there are no more than one person who has a higher cultivation than me. Tianyun said indifferently, It seems that you didn't hear what I just said. Tianyun clapped his hands, and immediately, 2 black dragons and a huge snow wolf king fell from the sky. As soon as they landed, a wave of air blew them away. Tianyun's strength was at the 5th or 6th layer of Saint King stage, and he was much stronger than old ancestor Tianzhong. This time, everyone was shocked. All 3 of his pets were at the Saint King stage. Was there a mistake? You are not even as good as one of my pets. Keeping you here is a waste of food. Tianyun gently waved his hand, and with a bang sound, old ancestor Tianzhong died in shock. Everyone gasped, and their eyes were extremely complicated. If they could, they wanted to slap themselves so hard that their faces were swollen. The Heavenly Cloud's Empire's pets were stronger than old ancestor Tianzhong, and they still wanted to curry favor with old ancestor Tianzhong. Tell me, what did old ancestor Tianzhong promise you? Tianyun looked at them and asked. He said that he will give us benefits, and he said that we will sit in a higher position. After he becomes the Alliance Master, he will share some of the Heavenly Cloud's Empire's resources with us. After all, after he becomes the Alliance Master, the Heavenly Cloud's Empire will be a member of the Alliance. After making the slave oath, they had to answer whatever Tianyun asked. Very good. Not only is old ancestor Tianzhong courageous, but you are also courageous. Tianyun sneered and said, I will give you a mission. Destroy the Tianzhong Empire. Yes. They hurriedly got up and prepared to eradicate the Tianzhong Empire. It was not good for the Tianzhong Empire to be blinded by benefits. Looking at their backs, Tianyun rubbed his head, and immediately, Shi Shuyan stroked his head with her small hand. The alliance has just been established, and there are still many people who want to take advantage of it. Tianyun shook his head and said, Yes, we have thought about this problem before, so we called you here to discuss it. But who knew that they had already discussed it, and they wanted to use the alliance as an excuse to rob us of our resources? Shi Shuyan said helplessly, It's a coincidence that you came back. Even if you didn't come back, we will still deal with this matter. Tianyun hugged her in his arms and looked at her with a faint smile. How can I not know your ability? Who among the Iron Blood Palace Master wasn't afraid of you? Aren't you afraid of me? Shi Shuyan frowned and said, That's because you are my woman. Why would I be afraid of you? Chapter 847. After Tianyun came back, he didn't rush to leave. Instead, he spent some time with Shi Shuyan, and at the same time, he carefully learned about the situation here. He came back to see Shi Shuyan, but he also came back to check the situation here. The mortal world was truly unified. Even if they formed an alliance before, the Heavenly Cloud's Empire wasn't the leader, so it wasn't unified. Fortunately, the EXP was still calculated, otherwise he would have lost a lot. Under Shi Shuyan's detailed introduction, the current situation didn't change much. After all, the alliance didn't take all the power for itself. It just let them join the alliance to fight against the evil spirit race together. The evil spirit race was mobilized to fight against the mortal world, but the alliance wasn't very united. Now that Tianyun came back, he immediately united the alliance. One by one, they made a slave oath, and it was hard not to be united. As for the rest, there wasn't much to do. Everything was going according to the plan that had been set before. They just needed to form an alliance, and there was no need for a dictatorship. He did this to a large extent to fight against the evil spirit race, and he didn't think about anything else. It's almost time to go to the place over there to see how it is. Tianyun flew to the White Lotus Mansion. He didn't use the teleportation divine stone, it was only used when necessary. With his current speed, he could reach there quickly, so there was no need to waste it. Soon, he arrived at the White Lotus Mansion. The White Lotus Mansion was now thriving, and it was all thanks to his care. Since he was the guardian of this place, he would certainly not treat them badly. All kinds of good resources would be given to the White Lotus Mansion. Tianyun glanced at them and didn't say hello. His figure flashed, and he disappeared in place. The next moment, he appeared in the secret room. He directly teleported in, so he didn't need to dig a tunnel. "Well, young man, you are here again?" The heavenly rock-suppressing ancient tablet woke up, and when it saw Tianyun coming over, it looked at him up and down in surprise. "I can't see your cultivation, is it?" "Yes, I broke through to the God King stage," Tianyun replied casually. "What?" The heavenly rock-suppressing ancient tablet was dumbfounded. It didn't expect Tianyun to successfully break through to the God King stage in such a short period of time. "How long has it been?" "Originally, it should have been 100 years, but now it was only a little more than a year." How could it not be shocking? If this continued, wouldn't it be even more terrifying? It wouldn't be even more terrifying if it continued? Don't worry about it. I just want to feel this guy's strength and see what level he has reached. Tianyun came to the front of the heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet and said with a smile on his face, "Yes, no problem. I can send a wisp of your soul consciousness into it to check on him. However, you must be careful. If he backfires, it will affect you a little," the heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet warned. Tianyun immediately time to time entered the stone. With time and his soul Tianyun time. In the next moment, his soul entered a special space inside. It was pitch black all around. Raising his head, he saw that there was a huge cage in front of him, and the person inside was the evil spirit race's ancestor. The 8 gigantic arms were all pinned to the hard wall. Each of his arms was nailed to the wall by a dozen or so huge nails. His legs and body were also nailed to the wall by countless nails. It made one's hair stand on end. Even this wasn't enough to kill him. It had to be said that this was a bit too terrifying. These nails were no ordinary nails. They were all low-grade god artifact nails. Every single one of them had been custom-made. They were all engraved with dense divine runes, and when so many nails were connected together, they formed an absolute suppression formation. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to suppress him with just the number of divine artifacts. Demon God Yulong, 8th level of the Divine King stage. He has super healing abilities. He belongs to the royal bloodline of the evil spirit race. Super strong healing ability, super strong soul strength, super strong physique. With its super healing ability, it was very difficult to kill. Even if his head was chopped off, he wouldn't die so easily. Only when his soul was destroyed, he would die completely. Weakness: extreme yang flame can destroy his soul. Overall combat power is judged to be dangerous level, with a combat power of 100 billion, sealed state. Shocking. Even in the sealed state, he still maintained a combat power of 100 billion. If he was allowed to come out, one could imagine how terrifying he would be. Even with such a terrifying cultivation, he was still suppressed here. One couldn't help but admire the strength of the heaven-creating Divine King and the others. They must have set up all kinds of traps. It was impossible to fight them head-on. They had to use all kinds of means to suppress him. If they wanted to kill him, it would be too difficult. The bloodline of the evil spirit race's royal bloodline had an immortal soul. Even the 3 god kings couldn't do anything to him. They could only choose to suppress him. Now that Tianyun's cultivation had broken through to the first level of the God King stage, he still felt a little pressure when facing the demon god Yulong. But overall it was still relatively ordinary, because his combat power was not strong for him. Once he broke through to that level, As long as it wasn't a heaven-defying existence, he would be fearless. His purpose in coming here was very simple. He wanted to test this guy's strength. If he felt that it was acceptable, he wanted to kill this guy now. Every day that this guy stayed was one more day of danger, so it would be best to kill him as soon as possible. "Kid, it's you again." The demon god Yulong woke up and said in a hoarse voice. One could clearly hear the resentment in it. After being suppressed here for so long, anyone would be full of resentment. "Yes, it's me." Tianyun walked over and stood in front of this sturdy cage. The pressure he felt was even greater. No wonder he had the royal bloodline, his terrifying strength was really amazing. His huge body was similar to the demon god Tianyun had seen before, maybe even bigger. Compared to those demon gods, this guy's whole body was darker, and the most important thing was that there was a huge black crystal on his forehead, which was definitely not an ordinary thing. "Then go to hell." The demon god Yulong roared at Tianyun, and waves of air blasted out, trying to blast Tianyun's soul into ashes. "Hurry up and leave." The heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet hurriedly asked Tianyun to take it back, in case he was seriously injured. Tianyun squinted his eyes and slightly adjusted the energy in his body. In an instant, the trace of his soul that entered the cage became stronger, emitting bursts of golden light. Boom! Chapter 848. The roar isn't bad, but it's still a bit lacking, Tianyun said as he tidied up his clothes. In fact, they weren't any different from before. He just wanted to show that the roar had no effect on him at all. However, if it was someone with a lower cultivation base, their soul would have been directly shattered by this roar. But because it was only a trace of a soul, even if it was shattered by the roar, it wouldn't be a big problem, but it would still take some time to recuperate. Demon god Yulong looked at the little human in front of him with a hint of shock in his eyes. He was trapped here, but the power of his roar was absolutely unbearable for an ordinary cultivator. If one wanted to resist it, they would need to be at least at the peak Saint King stage, otherwise, how could they resist his power? Even a peak Saint King stage cultivator wouldn't be able to resist it so easily, which meant that the cultivation of the young man in front of him was at least at the God King stage. Such a young God King stage master caused his eyes to flash with desire, a desire to devour. If he could devour the life of a God King, it would definitely be of great help to him. "Boy, did you come in here to kill me? Then hurry up and kill me. You have so many masters, but you can't even kill me, you can only trap me. What kind of skill is this? Give me a little more time, when I get out, I'll devour you all." Demon god Yulong looked at him and laughed, his eyes full of contempt. To put it bluntly, he looked down on him. Tianyun stood outside the cage and looked at him. He knew that the other party wanted to lure him in. Inside the cage, demon god Yulong could do a lot of things to him. If he could devour his soul, his strength would definitely increase, and he might even be able to escape from the suppression here. Tianyun had to admit that the suppression here was very perfect. Whether it was the many nails, the huge cage, or the chains binding him, all of them were used to suppress him. However, even if there was a terrifying suppression, the roar just now still released a lot of power. If he went in, he would most likely die. "Is that so? I'm really a little interested. Looks like you've been trapped in there for too long. Even your brain isn't working." Tianyun smiled. Then, he disappeared from the spot and left the space. After Tianyun went out, he said to the heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet, "Let my body go in, I want to meet him." After he entered and observed carefully, he realized that everything was within his acceptable range. Therefore, he decided to enter and battle demon god Long Yu. Especially now that he was trapped inside, his strength was greatly suppressed. He was not worried that the other party would be able to suppress him. Moreover, he had a lot of trump cards. He could slip away with a single teleportation, so how could he catch him? The heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet shook its head and refused. It's too dangerous. If we go in, I don't know what tricks he'll use. Tianyun was half his master, but he didn't want his master to enter dangerous areas. This was the difference between a phantom spirit and a tool spirit. The artifact spirit was intelligent and knew what to do. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have forced my way in. Besides, aren't you here to suppress him? If anything goes wrong, just drag me out, said Tianyun. After a moment of silence, the heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet nodded and said, All right then, be careful. This guy is crafty and has countless abilities. It's possible for him to suddenly attack. Well, of course I know that. Tianyun nodded. Then, the heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet teleported him into the space. This time, he entered with his body. This meant that if he was attacked, it wouldn't be as simple as his soul being injured. His body would suffer as well. As soon as he entered, demon god Long Yu's eyes lit up when he saw him. I thought you ran away. Turns out that you really have some guts to come in. Demon god Long Yu's eyes were filled with surprise. He was definitely overjoyed that the other party was willing to come in. Tianyun walked step by step to the outside of the cage and stood there looking at him. Then, he immediately stepped into the cage. Then, as if passing through a layer of ripples, he arrived inside the cage. After entering, he immediately felt a pressuring aura everywhere. Even if he was nailed to the wall, he wouldn't be able to escape. Demon god Long Yu still didn't know his place. Terrifying power was released from his body. Looking at it from a close distance, he could see the dense nails nailed to his body. Due to his super healing ability, the wounds had long since stopped bleeding. The moment he entered, demon god Long Yu's eyes flickered. The power in his body immediately erupted and enveloped the area. Not good. The heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet immediately sensed that something was wrong. It immediately wanted to mobilize its power to move Tianyun out. However, demon god Long Yu released circles of power from his body, enveloping Tianyun inside. Immediately, the heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet's power couldn't seep in at all. Instead, it was blocked outside. This meant that Tianyun was locked inside and couldn't come out. A puny artifact spirit dares to be arrogant in front of me? It's not a puny artifact spirit that's suppressing me here, but these array nails. Do you think you can control this place with your power? You're too naive. Demon god Long Yu laughed. He looked down at Tianyun from the sky and said, I didn't expect that after waiting for so long, food finally came in. And it's perfect food. A young god king. TSK. After eating you, breaking out of this place is just around the corner. He didn't expect that demon god Long Yu could still burst out with such terrifying power after being nailed here. He could even block the power of the heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet. It seemed that after being trapped here all these years, not only did he not weaken, but he could also gradually become stronger. Is that so? Tianyun stood inside with a calm expression. He already knew that demon god Long Yu would have some tricks up his sleeve. Otherwise, he wouldn't have provoked him to come in. However, he came in because he was full of confidence in himself. After coming in and using the appraisal eye, he knew that he wasn't qualified to face demon god Long Yu. Not bad, you're still quite calm? But I've seen too many people like you who pretend to be calm. Do you think that I can't do anything to you just because I'm trapped here? You're too naive. I've seen stupid people, but I've never seen such a stupid person. Even the heaven-creating divine king and the others can't deal with me. Do you think you can deal with me? You want to be a hero? This method is the stupidest I've ever seen. But because of your stupidity, you've given me hope of getting out in advance. I really have to thank you. I'll have a good taste of you later. Chapter 849. Demon god Long Yu could not move his limbs, but his mouth could release a terrifying suction force that enveloped Tianyun, trying to suck him into his mouth. The huge nails on Demon God Long Yu's body prevented him from grabbing Tianyun with his hands, so he could only use his terrifying suction force to suck Tianyun in. But this was still very powerful, not to mention a cultivator, even a huge mountain would be sucked in. Tianyun immediately felt a suction force around him, but no matter how hard the suction force tried to pull him, he didn't move at all. He was as steady as a rock, standing on the ground without moving half a step. "Is this all you've got?" Tianyun looked at him disdainfully. The heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet, who had been paying attention to this, was shocked. Tianyun was completely fine, and he looked like he had a card up his sleeve. Demon God Long Yu was shocked. In order to suck Tianyun in, he had used all his strength. He thought that he could succeed in one fell swoop, but Tianyun was completely fine. This was obviously beyond his expectations. He thought that even a God King stage level 1 cultivator would not be able to withstand his terrifying suction force. Even if he was not sucked in, at least he would move a little. But Tianyun did not move an inch, and he just stood there like a rock. Little did he know that Tianyun had already used the heaven-trembling divine art, and the terrifying gravitational force. Even Demon God Swot, who was at the God King stage level 2, was unable to move. Demon God Long Yu's cultivation was not weak, but it was impossible to suck him up with just the suction force. After a while, Demon God Long Yu stopped devouring, and his expression was frighteningly cold. "No wonder you came in, so you're quite capable. If you have the ability, remove the nails on my body and fight me fair and square," Demon God Long Yu said solemnly. "Do you think I'm an idiot?" Tianyun sneered. "You're an idiot, but don't think that others are idiots like you." An 8th-level God King stage expert was schemed against by 3 weaker God Kings. "Don't you think you're an idiot? What did you say?" Devil God Long Yu was infuriated, and he waved his arms wildly, causing the wall to tremble. The huge nails on the wall moved slightly, and at the same time, the divine runes on the nails glowed with light, pinning him to the wall. What he hated the most was hearing people talk about him like that. His cultivation was supposed to be able to crush everything, but he had been ruthlessly schemed against. This was a great humiliation to him. Now that it was brought up by Tianyun, he was immediately enraged. In his rage, the huge nails on his swaying arms started to ooze blood. One could imagine how angry he was. "Didn't you hear me clearly? I said you're an idiot, a fool." Tianyun chuckled and leaped into the air, transforming into a gigantic mountain that crashed toward Demon God Long Yu. Boom! Demonic God Long Yu's body caved in from the impact. If not for the fact that the walls were tougher, the walls would have collapsed. Poochie! Demon God Long Yu spat out a mouthful of blood. That terrifying collision had caused him quite a bit of damage. However, after the collision, its huge body quickly began to heal. His super healing ability soon showed itself here. "Haha, it's useless. Hit me as you like, smash me as you like. If you can kill me, then it's your win." Demon God Long Yu laughed loudly, his eyes filled with excitement. "You're really tough. However, I won't be in a rush to kill you. I'll slowly exhaust you to death. So much EXP, how can I waste it?" Tianyun looked at him up and down. His eyes revealed a somewhat sinister expression. "Experience points?" Demon God Long Yu was stunned. He did not know what Tianyun was talking about. Even the Heaven Rock suppressing ancient tablet did not know what Tianyun was talking about. Upgrade Heaven Devourer Divine Art. Ding, successfully deducted 5 million proficiency points. Upgraded Heaven Devourer Divine Art to middle grade Heaven Class Martial Art. Following that, he placed his hand on Demon God Long Yu's huge body. A terrifying suction force was immediately released from his hand, devouring the energy in Demon God Long Yu's body. He had not used this martial art for a long time. Previously, there were too many experts coming over, and he could not devour them one by one. This would waste too much time. now that the Heaven Devourer divine art had appeared again. He had a lot of time now and had nothing else to do. The only problem now was Demon God Long Yu. As long as he killed Demon God Long Yu, there would not be any problems for the time being. All that was left was to exterminate all the evil spirit race in the three realms. Then, the root of the three realms' disaster would be considered to be over. The final goal was to unify the three realms so that he could strengthen his cultivation and fight against the evil spirit race that was preparing to invade. Therefore, he had a lot of time to slowly absorb Demon God Long Yu and absorb all his energy. Tianyun did not believe that if he devoured his energy bit by bit, how could he resist? No matter what kind of life it was, if it did not have energy, it would not be able to do anything. This included the soul. Tianyun guessed that there was a lot of energy stored in Demon God Long Yu's body, which allowed him to survive until now and quickly heal himself. As for what it was, he was still not sure. In any case, he could just use it as an upgrade to devour experience points. There was no hurry. 1,500,000 experience points, 1,800,000 experience points, 2 million experience points, 1,900,000 experience points. After the devouring heaven divine art was upgraded, its effect had greatly increased. Originally, he could only devour 70,000 to 80,000 experience points, but it was still good overall. Although it was only about 2 million experience points each time, it was still good overall, and he would soon accumulate to 100 million experience points. If he used crazy experience mode, it would definitely be an explosive amount of experience points. However, the absorption was still a bit too slow. This was the reason why he chose not to use it for the time being. It would take a lot of time to absorb the energy of a Saint King stage powerhouse. Therefore, without a lot of time, he really did not dare to absorb the energy of a Divine King stage powerhouse. What's going on? Demon God Long Yu was shocked. He found that the energy in his body was being extracted crazily. He had always been the one devouring the energy of others, but now it was the other way around. Someone could devour his energy? Even the three divine kings couldn't extract his energy, but now a newcomer could do it, which made him feel incredulous. It's nothing, I'm just exhausting you bit by bit. Tianyun was calm and leisurely devoured the energy steadily. At the same time, he activated crazy experience mode. Obtained 64 million experience points, 63,200,000 experience points, 63,500,000 experience points. Under the effect of 32 times, his experience points suddenly skyrocketed. How could it be described with the word cool? If he continued like this, leveling up would not be a problem. Chapter 850. After stacking crazy experience mode, the experience gained made him feel extremely refreshed. If he had more experience cards, he could still use them, and the experience would be even more explosive. He had a high multiplier experience card now, and he wasn't in a hurry to use it. It would be a waste if Demon God Long Yu ran dry after absorbing for a while. The best use was undoubtedly when Demon God Long Yu was about to die. At that time, he could kill him at the same time, and the experience gained would be truly explosive. Get lost! Demon God Long Yu shook his body, trying to fling Tianyun away, but it was as if he was stuck to the surface, and there was no way to shake him off. He was forcefully fixed on the surface, and he was rapidly devouring the experience. How could Tianyun let go of so much experience? It was much better than killing those low-level cultivators, and he was continuously gaining experience. Hopefully, it would provide him with a new level of experience. No matter how hard Demon God Long Yu tried, he couldn't shake Tianyun off, and he was still stuck to the surface. Shortly after, the shield outside disappeared. Demon God Long Yu couldn't maintain it, and it was useless against Tianyun, so there was no need to maintain it. Didn't you want to devour me? Come and devour me now. Let's see who devours who. Eteonyun sneered, and the suction force in his hand gradually increased. Unless this guy self-destructed, it was impossible to shake him off. Demon God Longyue was infuriated, and he kept shaking his body, trying to shake Eteonyun off, but he was unable to do so. If it were someone of other cultivation, he would have been thrown off. But how was Eteonyun an ordinary person? The powerful suction force was enough to make him unable to be thrown off. Demon God Longyue wanted to devour someone, but how could they devour someone like this? They would directly devour the person into their mouth, and not devour the energy bit by bit like this. It was simply too strange. The heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet couldn't help but shiver. Why did it feel like Eteonyun was even more strange than Demon God Longyue? However, he was more delighted than anything else. If this were to continue, he might really be able to kill Demon God Longyue. If he could slay Demonic God Longyue, he wouldn't have to suppress him anymore, and his mission would be considered complete. Then, something strange happened. Eteonyun just stuck to him. Demon God Longyue kept shaking his body, but he was still unable to shake Eteonyun off. Soon, Demon God Longyue realized that he was unable to suppress Eteonyun. Fear crept into his heart. If this continued, he would definitely be sucked dry. Human, I'm willing to trade other things for you. As long as you're willing to stop, not only am I willing to leave the three realms, but I'm also willing to tell the ancestral land not to attack the three realms. In addition, I can give you many treasures in exchange for this reconciliation. In the end, Demonic God Longyue decided to compromise. This was the first time he felt the fear of death, so he could only choose to compromise. I wonder if your brains have been kicked by a donkey. How could you tell such a lie? If I let you go, forget about the benefits, I suspect the three realms will die even faster. Eteonyun sneered. If you want to say something, you have to make it more believable. For example, you have to swear to become my slave or something, and listen to my orders forever. That's something I can believe. The rest is bullsh*t. Demon God Longyue's face darkened. He did have the intention to lie, but who knew that his excuse would be seen through? It was fine if he said it to a 3-year-old, but who would believe him when he said it to Eteonyun? Who could believe the words of a demon? Whoever believed him would die first. Forget about treasures, this guy would probably start a massacre the moment he was released. Then kill me if you can. If you kill me, the ancestral land will definitely sense my death, and they will speed up their attack on the three realms. If you choose to submit to me now, I can give you a place to stay. Otherwise, you'll die without a doubt. Demon God Longyue changed on a whim. Before, he was willing to compromise, but in the blink of an eye, he became a domineering demon god. This has always been their way of doing things. First, they used benefits to tempt them. Then, when the enticement failed, they started to threaten them, revealing their true intentions. All right. I've heard your words so much that I've grown calluses. You all speak the same way. Whether it's that guy in the ocean, or Demon God Suate, or Demon God Suago, they all speak the same way. Eteonyun said indifferently, but they went down before you. Soon, you'll be following them. Suate and Suagu. Demon God Longyue raged. You killed my disciple? So it's your disciple. No wonder they came to find you. Eteonyun smiled, but don't worry, you'll be joining them soon. Fiend God Longyue was enraged and said furiously, if you can kill me, then give it a try. Even the 3 God Kings couldn't kill me, even if you can devour energy, you still can't kill me. Is that so? Anyway, I'll give it a try. Eteonyun didn't bother to pay attention to him, and continued to concentrate on absorbing energy. Experience skyrocketed, basically 100 million superimposed, but the consumption of crazy point is a bit higher. This high level of crazy mode consumes a lot of crazy point. As high as 10,000 crazy point per minute, it's really high. After all, it's every minute, not every hour. But no matter how amazing it is, It's better than buying EXP card. 32 times crazy mode is equivalent to 32 times EXP card, which is sold for more than 1 million in the mall. Of course, if it's restored to the original price, it's only a few 100,000. In other words, it can only last for 30 to 40 minutes, not even an hour. It's a big loss. Of course, 30 times EXP card is very expensive now, so it's worth it to use crazy mode. Demon God Long Yu maintained this state and continued to let Yi Tianyun devour energy. His face became gloomier and gloomier as if he was thinking about something. But even if he has a lot of plans, he can't use them now. His whole body is nailed to the wall. How can he make a move? If he could, he would have done it a long time ago, and he wouldn't be trapped here. Yi Tianyun looked at Demon God Long Yu and saw that Demon God Long Yu didn't say anything, so he could continue devouring the energy. If he continues like this, leveling up won't be a problem. Chapter 851. Yi Tianyun kept devouring without stopping, and soon he gained tens of billions of EXP. When he felt that the energy inside Demon God Long Yu's body began to weaken, he didn't hesitate to use the 150 times EXP card. After using it, his total EXP immediately increased to 182 times. But it's not over yet. He used the shop to clear all the EXP cards back to the original price, and then from 5 times all the way to 50 times. They are 5 times, 10 times, 30 times, and 50 times EXP card. Originally, he wanted to buy a higher multiplier, but the price is too high. Even if he cleared them, the price is still too high. His crazy point is now stretched, unless he sells divine tools like crazy. Otherwise, he really can't buy these high multiplier EXP cards. As for the discount card, there is no need to waste it for the time being. After buying 4 EXP cards, his total EXP stacked up to 277 times. Once again, the EXP stacked to an unprecedented height. This is a big fat sheep. He must kill Demon God Long Yu, so he must use all the EXP cards. Demon God Long Yu is an 8th level God King stage cultivator. The EXP is absolutely explosive. How can he waste this opportunity? Perhaps he can save it for when the evil spirit race invaders come. The effect will be even more amazing. He definitely understands this, but if a super expert, such as a peak God King stage cultivator comes, it will be even more terrifying. At that time, he won't even have the chance to kill the weak evil spirit race, let alone make a big profit. He always looks at the future, he only looks at the present. Boom! Under the effect of 277 times EXP, the EXP instantly exploded. 550 million EXP gained, 555 million EXP gained, 540 million EXP gained. Yi Tianyun's EXP increased to 500 million in one breath. This is exactly the feeling he wanted to have. Under this crazy EXP, the EXP he gained quickly accumulated, much faster than before. In less than a short time, a pleasant voice sounded in his ear. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully breaking through to 2nd level God King stage. After absorbing for a long time, he had gained a lot of experience. Now, with the explosive amount of experience, after absorbing for a while, he immediately leveled up. Sure enough, killing them after absorbing all their energy was the most effective. It was just that he didn't have enough time before, so he didn't get this benefit. Upgrade the heaven-devouring divine art for me. Yi Tianyun did not forget to level up this god art. He had gained quite a bit of proficiency when he was absorbing. When he felt that it was about time, he immediately chose to level it up. Successfully deducted 3,700,000 proficiency points, successfully upgraded the devouring heaven divine art to high-grade heaven rank martial art, maximum level. The heaven swallowing divine art had leveled up to a high-grade heaven rank martial art. Just like that, it was maxed out. Boom. 11. 1 billion EXP gained, 11. 2 billion EXP gained, 11. 1 billion EXP gained. The experience points skyrocketed once again, but this time, it was not the stacking of experience cards. Instead, the extraction speed was increased by 20 times, so the effect was completely explosive. However, the result of this was that Demon God Long Yu's body began to shake violently. Starting from his feet, his body began to shrivel up rapidly. It was impossible for his body to maintain its original state when all the energy was rapidly extracted. This was the difference between an experience card and leveling up a martial art. No matter how many times the experience card was stacked, it would not affect the person absorbing it. After leveling up a martial art, the extraction speed increased, and the energy in the body of the person being absorbed would be drained very quickly. Not bad, seems like I can use this move in the future. Finally, this move had achieved a pretty good effect. If the efficiency was the same as before, it would definitely not be worth using. The absorption speed was too slow, and it would take a long time to drain a cultivator dry. How could it be like this in a battle? It would be even better if he could continue leveling up, but it was a pity that it was already at the maximum level. However, if he had not subdued so many god generals, continuously leveling up and formed alliances, he would not have had so many proficiency points to continue leveling up. Under the frenzied absorption, Demon God Long Yu's legs began to turn into powder, completely drained and turned into this state. Demon God Long Yu still did not make a sound, but his eyes were filled with shocking killing intent. However, he could not kill Tianyun, so he could only let it happen. The heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet watched from the side, and it was deeply shocked by this situation. What's going on? The effect is even stronger than before? He could sense that Tianyun's absorption speed had suddenly increased by a lot, and it gave him a huge shock. As Tianyun absorbed, Demon God Long Yu's body began to crumble bit by bit. His body began to turn into powder, crumbling inch by inch. This was clearly a very terrifying thing, but Demon God Long Yu did not show any expression. He continued to stare coldly at Tianyun. Under the continuous absorption, Demon God Long Yu's body quickly lost more than half. Even with his super healing power, he still could not recover. How could he recover when all his energy was drained? When he absorbed to his chest, Demon God Long Yu's eyes flashed with a cold glint, thinking that Tianyun would continue to absorb. However, Tianyun was sent flying backward, and an evil spirit divine sword appeared in his hand. It's about time. I can send you to the heavens now. As soon as Tianyun finished speaking, he raised the evil spirit divine sword and slashed it down at Demon God Long Yu's head. He felt that it was about time. Because he did not know what Demon God Long Yu was thinking, he only had a little time left, and he would be able to kill this guy. He immediately gathered his strength and slashed down. A huge sword light slashed down at Demon God Long Yu's head. When the sword light slashed down, a light suddenly appeared above Demon God Long Yu's head and devoured the sword light. After devouring the sword light, Demon God Long Yu's body began to recover quickly. It was clear that he had devoured the sword light's energy and absorbed it. Ha ha ha, did you not eat? You want to kill me with just this bit of ability? Demon God Long Yu laughed loudly. I thought you were strong. Even your old ancestor couldn't kill me, and you want to kill me? The attack was devoured. There really is something fishy in his head. Tianyun's eyes narrowed as he stared closely at Demon God Long Yu's head. Soon, the appraisal eye penetrated deep inside and found out what was going on. Chapter 852. High-quality divine artifact? Tianyun's eyes narrowed. He did not expect a high-quality divine artifact. It was beyond his expectations. Because he did not use it before, the appraisal eye did not detect it. Only after using it did he realize that he had a high-quality divine artifact protecting him. No wonder Long Yu Demon God was so calm. Just a high-quality divine artifact was enough to calm him down. If he kept attacking without being able to injure him, it would constantly replenish his energy, which would instead help him cultivate. Looks like it's because of this thing that heaven-creating Divine King and the others are unable to kill him. Tianyun immediately understood. Even if he kept devouring energy, with the protection of the high-quality divine artifact, it would be very difficult for him to invade the high-quality divine artifact. This guy's compromise was indeed an act. Even if his body was devoured, he was still fine. However, if he kept devouring, his strength would definitely be greatly reduced. This was not a scene that Long Yu Demon God wanted to see. What's wrong? Continue hacking. If you have the ability, continue hacking. Idiot, trash. Long Yu Demon God sneered, with your strength, you want to kill me? Where's that confidence from before? Show me what you've got. He began to mock Tianyun and provoke him. In fact, he was provoking Tianyun to continue attacking him. However, even if he kept hacking him, he would at most recover some energy and would not cause any harm to Tianyun. Of course, after recovering his body, he would not be able to leave this suppression. His body was no longer on the huge nail, but it was more of his soul power that was nailed down. The huge array was pressing down on him. If he could escape with broken arms and legs, he would have abandoned his body and run away. This treasure again. This treasure can devour Master's attacks. Even if the three divine kings joined forces, they would still be devoured. The heavenly rock suppression tablet appeared beside Tianyun and stared at the treasure cautiously. If you continue attacking, you will keep devouring energy to increase your strength. Therefore, Master can only seal him until your cultivation reaches a very high level before you can break through this treasure's protection. Long Yu Demon God's true immortality was not because his healing ability was too strong, nor was it because his physique was too strong. It was because he had a high-grade divine artifact. This high-grade divine artifact was no ordinary high-grade divine artifact. Tianyun could sense that its effect was stronger than that of the ancient underworld divine tower. Although they were all high-grade divine artifacts, there were differences in strength. It was obvious that the upper-grade divine equipment created by the evil spirit race would be even more powerful. This could be seen from the heaven-devouring divine treasure. A middle-grade divine artifact's effect was comparable to a high-grade divine artifact. If it were them, they wouldn't be able to forge it. It's fine. Let me see how strong an attack this thing can withstand, Tianyun said calmly. The heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet wanted to say something, but when it saw Tianyun's firm gaze, it obediently shut its mouth. Tianyun tightly gripped evil spirit divine sword and flew in front of Long Yu Demon God, looking straight into Long Yu Demon God's mocking eyes. What's wrong? If you can't cut it, then scram. Long Yu Demon God sneered, his tone full of disdain. Who said I can't cut it? Tianyun waved evil spirit divine sword and mobilized the power in his body. The accessories on his body were released to their maximum power. The overbearing desolate ancient set was stacked on top of them, and the evil dragon set on his body was released with extreme power. Then, he aimed at Long Yu Demon God's head and slashed down heavily. His current combat power was almost 200 billion. This was without using the crazy damage mode, so he slashed down heavily. Boom! The terrifying power smashed down heavily, and the heavenly soul divine artifact emitted a dazzling light, blocking this overbearing power. Boom, boom, boom! The astonishing power smashed Long Yu Demon God's head heavily against the wall. The barrier was constantly releasing power to protect Long Yu Demon God's head. At the same time, it was constantly absorbing the energy of the attack. The originally overbearing sword light quickly became thin, as if it would be drained at any time. After a while, the sword finished slashing, but Long Yu Demon God's head was unscathed. He couldn't even cut through the barrier. Long Yu demon god looked at the barrier in front of him in shock. He felt that the barrier had almost been smashed apart. This power was too terrifying. He didn't expect Tianyun to be able to burst out with such terrifying power. You think this kind of attack can break my defense? You are too naive. Is that all you have? Long Yu demon god sneered, but his heart was not as calm as he looked on the surface. He felt that if he continued to be strong, the barrier would not be able to withstand it and would definitely be smashed apart. At the same time, the violent attack from before was quickly swallowed by the barrier, turning into waves of energy that were provided to him, allowing him to speed up the healing of his body. If he really had such a treasure, as long as his soul was not destroyed, he would not die. Divine King stage experts were not weak. They would not die as easily as weak cultivators. As long as their soul was not destroyed, they would not die. When Tianyun killed them before, he would slash them from head to toe, especially their heads, which would definitely be cut in half. This was the only way to completely kill them and destroy their souls. Oh, this defense effect is not bad, Tianyun smiled. He just wanted to try it out a little, and he did not even use the crazy damage mode. He just used all of his equipment to attack, and found that it was indeed difficult to break through. Although he did not use the crazy damage mode, the burst of damage was definitely comparable to the 6th or 7th level Divine King stage. How could the effect be bad with such a terrifying equipment bonus? However, this damage was still not enough to break the barrier, and he still needed to increase his strength. Then what about this? Tianyun put the evil spirit divine sword horizontally, and at the same time, equipped the two titles, King of the Mortal World and Reaper at the same time, instantly increasing his combat power by 12 times. Boom! In an instant, his power soared into the sky, and even the heavenly rock suppressing ancient monument trembled, and it was faintly unable to suppress this power. Tianyun's cultivation was at 2nd level Divine King stage, and his basic combat power was 50 billion. 12 times was not the limit, and he still had the Desolate Ancient set, which could provide 3 times the damage bonus, which would increase his combat power by 15 times. 750 billion combat power. 780 billion combat power. 790 billion combat power. 800 billion combat power. Finally, it stopped at 800 billion combat power. This was the ultimate effect of the combination of all of his equipment. The evil spirit divine sword in his hand was buzzing, and the light shining from it was extremely dazzling. Chapter 853. A full 800 billion battle power, reaching an unprecedented peak. In fact, Tianyun can still burst out with even stronger battle power. However, he wants to test the effect bit by bit to see what level he can burst out without relying on crazy damage mode. Then he wants to try to see if he can shatter this hard barrier with his battle power and see how strong a high-grade divine artifact can be. Boom! Boom! The entire heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet is shaking, and the artifact's spirit on the side is frightened. He has never felt such a terrifying power before. Even the 3 godly kings have not burst out with such terrifying power. Such powerful power. The artifact spirit is dumbfounded. If it was the phantom, it would not have such a rich expression. Demon god Long Yu is even more exaggerated. He keeps twisting his body, trying to break free from this giant nail so that he can quickly leave this place. However, this giant nail is constantly releasing energy, and the divine runes on it are constantly flickering, nailing him to the wall. No matter how he twists, he can't break free. He already feels the fear of death. If he doesn't dodge, he will die for sure. I wonder if you can block this move? Tianyun shows a trace of a demonic smile. If you kill me, your 3 realms will definitely die. In the end, demon god Long Yu still did not compromise and is still staring at him, not afraid of death. If I don't kill you, The three realms will live a life worse than death. Don't worry, when the time comes, I will kill as many people as you come. Or I will slaughter my way into your ancestral land and have a good massacre, completely annihilating your evil spirit race. Tianyun is not afraid of threats. Annihilate our ancestral land? What a joke. With your cultivation, you are not even worthy to carry our general's shoes. Demon God Longyu laughs. I guess you won't even be able to enter the entrance of our ancestral land and will die outside. That's right, before you die, I will let you see something. Tianyun stretches out his hand, and the evil spirit puppet appears in front of Demon God Longyu. Its huge body is exactly the same as Demon God Longyu, without any changes. This, Demon God Longyu's eyes widened. He had no idea what this was. Why would someone from his race be willing to follow Tianyun? At this time, Tianyun had already brandished his sword. His battle power of 800 billion pierced through the sky. When the overbearing sword light touched the shield of this divine tool, a bang sound was heard. The hard shield was immediately smashed by the sword, and then it easily chopped into Tianyun's brain. Without the protection of the barrier, demonic god Longyu's head was as fragile as tofu, slicing through it easily. Soon, his entire head began to be damaged. When his soul came into contact with this overbearing sword light, it immediately turned into ashes. Before Fiend Celestial Longyu could even let out a tragic cry, he was cleaved into two and was completely dead. Not only was his soul annihilated, even his body was reduced to ashes, drifting in all directions. The extremely domineering power far exceeded what demon god Longyu could withstand. This was especially the case when demonic god Longyu had always been in a weak position. With his powers sealed, he was unable to unleash most of his powers. As long as the shield was broken, demon god Longyu would be a fish on the chopping block. Ding! Successfully killed demon god Longyu. Reward: 360 billion EXP, 6. 5 million crazy point, 1 million SPs. Obtained Heavenly Soul Divine Tool, High Grade Divine Tool, Evil Spirit Divine Sword, Evil Spirit Necklace, Evil Spirit Soul, Evil Spirit Blood, Evil Spirit Bone. Ding! Successfully completed Super Main Quest, Kill the Otherworldly Demon, Become the Savior. Reward: 100 billion EXP, 100 million Crazy Point, 50 million SPs, 5,000 Prestige Point, and obtained the title Savior. Savior title. After equipping, commander points will increase by 100,000, only valid in the three realms. Commander points increased by 100,000, this is a terrifying number. This meant that his words were equivalent to authority, and no one could question his words. Whatever he said was the truth. He didn't even complete the normal main quest, but he completed the super main quest and obtained a lot of rewards. The pile of rewards was truly astounding. The number was truly shocking. When he saw the rewards before, he felt very envious. It had only been a short time since then, and he had already earned this reward. Is it over? Tianyun breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, he killed the most powerful existence, and the only thing left is to clean up all the evil spirit race in the three realms. Kill him! The heavenly rock suppressing ancient tablet was stunned. He has been trapping demon god Longyu, worried that demon god Longyu would escape. For a long time, he has been praying for the heaven creating divine king to come back quickly, otherwise, after demon god Longyu escapes, the three realms will definitely suffer. Who knew that the successor of the heaven creating divine king would be killed so easily, and it belongs to the category of easy instant kill. Such a sturdy protective barrier was forcefully blasted apart just like that. In fact, this situation can occur to a large extent because Tianyun drained demon god Longyu's energy. The lack of energy allowed the power of the heavenly soul divine tool to play to the maximum, resulting in a lot more fragile than usual. Under such conditions, a single sword strike is enough to crush the shield. That's right, Finally killed him. Tianyun breathed a sigh of relief. This guy has always been a big worry. Now that demon god Long Yu has been killed, the big worry in his heart is gone, but there are some things that he has to think about more, and that is the attack of the evil spirit race. As demon god Long Yu said, if he killed him, it is very likely that the evil spirit race will sense it and will definitely speed up their attack. However, whether it is a blessing or a curse, he can only hurry to command the three realms, so that he can arrange all aspects to resist the upcoming war. At the same time, in an area far away from the three realms, on a huge spirit ship, there is a group of powerful evil spirit race. Each evil spirit race is wearing thick equipment, and there is basically no holy artifact level equipment. No matter how bad it is still a holy artifact level equipment. One of the evil spirit race is wearing a full set of divine artifact. He looked at the fragment in his hand, his eyes full of killing intent. Demon god Long Yu is dead? Not only demon god Long Yu is dead, but demon god Soth is also dead. Nothing happened before, logically speaking, they should be in charge of that area. How did they die all of a sudden? General Long, it seems that they are in trouble. That small area is not as easy to attack as we thought. A subordinate next to him said. The king has already thought about it, that is why he sent us here. I did not expect that they would all die. General Long said coldly. Maybe other forces joined the battle, that is why this happened. No matter what, we must get that area. Chapter 854. After Tianyun killed demon god Long Yu, the heavenly rock-suppressing ancient tablet naturally didn't need to stay here anymore. In the end, it became his personal weapon. The heavenly rock-suppressing ancient tablet was still a very good divine tool. After all, a mid-grade divine tool wasn't a low-level one, especially one with an artifact spirit. Soon, he returned to the heavenly cloud's imperial capital. Here, he still acted according to the usual situation. No one knew that a big problem had been solved just like that. Most people didn't know that Tianyun had just solved a big problem in the three realms and became the savior. This was something that even the king of the heavens and the others couldn't do, and now Tianyun did it. It was really incredible. However, no one knew about this matter. There were very few people who knew about it. Tianyun didn't publicize anything. It was meaningless. Many people didn't know about the existence of demon god Long Yu, so it was meaningless to say it out loud. Most people would even suspect that he was bragging, and no one would believe him. Finally, there is no evil spirit race in the mortal world. Tianyun breathed a sigh of relief. Previously, when he said that all the evil spirit race would be destroyed, it didn't include demon god Long Yu. If it did, then the main quest couldn't be completed. Now it could be considered to have truly been eliminated, and all of the evil spirit races had been killed. The rest was to wait and see how long it would take for the ghost world to truly destroy all the evil spirit race. However, there was one thing that went very smoothly, much smoother than the mortal world, and that was the alliance. The alliance was quite smooth, and it could basically be said that the alliance was completed. The experience points were constantly stacking up, and if it continued, he could break through to the next level. It was all thanks to the ancient underworld divine pagoda that many cultivators spread the news about Tianyun's deeds to the outside world. It could be said that most people in the ghost world knew about it, especially the key kings. This was the key to forming the alliance quickly. It didn't matter if the common people didn't know about it, anyway, the alliance had nothing to do with them. After the kings knew about it, they immediately knew how to make a choice. It's almost time to go to the heaven realm to do something. The underworld and the mortal world were more or less settled. Now, all that was left was the situation of the heaven realm. However, this was not a big problem. Previously, he had helped the heaven-sealing divine kingdom destroy so many divine kingdoms. This was enough to intimidate most of the heaven realm's forces. Who would dare to mess with him? Transfer. In a flash, Yi Tianyun disappeared from where he stood. The next moment, he appeared in the Feng Tian imperial capital. The teleportation god stone was indeed useful. It allowed them to easily arrive at the heaven-sealing imperial capital. When they arrived at the heaven-sealing imperial capital, everyone was busy with their own matters. His grandfather had been busy the whole time and had never stopped. His parents were also in charge of various things, and the situation in Feng Tian imperial capital was becoming more and more prosperous. Without those traders, things would definitely stabilize. Moreover, with the stimulation from Yi Tianyun, those arrogant geniuses would obediently go into closed-door cultivation. They all used Yi Tianyun as a role model. Thinking back to that figure who had fought against so many divine nations, they felt as if they had been injected with chicken blood and began to cultivate. Yi Tianyun's figure flashed, and he appeared outside the main hall's study. He knocked lightly on the door. Inside, the busy Yi Yuanlong raised his head. When he saw that it was Yi Tianyun, he put down the work in his hands and exclaimed in surprise, "Tianyun, you're back?" "Grandfather, I'm back." Yi Tianyun smiled as he walked in. "But this time, I came back because I have something to discuss with you." Yi Yuanlong's eyes flashed, and he said in a low voice, "Is it about the alliance? Looks like grandfather has asked around." Yi Tianyun smiled. It was not surprising that Yi Yuanlong knew about it. "I just asked around a little." Yi Yuanlong was a little embarrassed. He clearly did not deliberately want to know about the mortal world. What was there to know about the mortal world? They just wanted to know about Yi Tianyun's situation. Who would have thought that there would be such a big movement in the mortal world? Yi Tianyun was about to unify the mortal world. This matter really shocked them. Unifying the mortal world was a very difficult task, but it did not seem to be a big problem. "But this time, I came here to form an alliance. In the heavenly realm, our Feng Tian divine nation will be the alliance leader, and then we will form an alliance with the other divine nations." Yi Tianyun took out the storage ring and placed it on the table. "This is the evil spirit necklace. It can easily detect their existence. Although there are 10 stars watching here, not every place can be watched. Therefore, we must spread this information and completely eliminate the evil spirit race in the heavenly realm." Yi Tianyun's eyes were filled with killing intent. He would definitely not leave a single one alive. No matter if it was big or small, he would not have the slightest bit of mercy. Sometimes it was necessary to be a little more ruthless. Once he relaxed, or when his compassion overflowed, the one who would die would only be himself. "I took a bit of this thing. It is indeed very effective." Yi Yuanlong took the necklace and said in a deep voice, "Although our Feng Tian divine nation has some prestige, it is still a bit difficult to make all the divine nations regard us as the alliance leader. Don't be afraid, I'm here." Yi Tianyun smiled and said, "The demon suppressed by the ancestor was killed by me?" "What?" Yi Yuanlong's hand trembled and directly crushed the jade cup in his hand. "Don't worry about it. In short, you can go and form an alliance. You can start now. If you don't form an alliance and the evil spirit race attacks, you will definitely be in a passive state." Yi Tianyun said with a smile, "As for not cooperating, they will soon know what to choose." After Yi Yuanlong calmed his heart, he immediately stood up and said, "All right, I will immediately go and arrange it." In his heart, other than shock, he was still shocked. If Yi Tianyun could kill the demon, it meant that he had already broken through to the God King stage. With a God King here, who would dare to refuse? Very quickly, after Yi Yuanlong left, he announced this matter and immediately sent out diplomatic envoys to promote the alliance. Some felt that it was unlikely for the Feng Tian divine nation to become the alliance leader, but they still braced themselves and went, hoping that they would not be chased out. "What? You want us to join an alliance, and this alliance needs to be led by the Feng Tian divine nation? If there is anything, we have to listen to the Feng Tian divine nation's instructions?" "That's right, the king said so." Seeing their serious expressions, the divine envoy could not help but wipe his cold sweat. Impossible! If the Fengtian divine nation situation was the same as a long time ago, we could still listen to them. Compared to the past, their current strength is too weak. Boom! At this time, they felt the earth tremble, which gave them a big fright. They all walked out of the palace to look outside. Following that, they saw the sky start to change color, and the 10 stars released extremely dazzling light. It was as if they had activated their power to the extreme. Chapter 855. The power of the 10 stars flickered crazily, and lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, spreading rapidly in all directions, covering a large area. The original daytime situation instantly became nighttime. Thick lightning constantly twisted in the sky, as if it would strike down at any time. Seeing this, many of the monarchs who opposed the alliance felt a sense of fear in their hearts. They had never felt such a terrible pressure before. After all, their cultivation was at the Saint King stage, and ordinary pressure could not make them feel fear. But this time, they felt an incomparable sense of fear, as if they could be completely burned to ashes by a lightning strike. I am the second elder of Fengtian Divine Kingdom. In the heaven realm, demons run rampant, and they are the evil spirit race. I believe that your ancestors will have records that the evil spirit race caused countless deaths and injuries in the 3 realms. Now the evil spirit race is hiding in the dark of the heaven realm, and we do not know when they will rush out and devour us. But one thing is clear, and that is that a disaster is coming. Therefore, we must form a huge alliance, with our Fengtian Divine Kingdom as the leader. We do not want to control all the forces and become the king of the heaven realm, but we want to put aside our prejudices and support each other. As for why the Fengtian Divine Kingdom should be the leader, the reason is very simple, that is, I am here. As soon as he finished speaking, the light of the 10 stars seemed to reach a critical point, and then a terrifying beam of light fell fiercely, accompanied by a boom sound. The whole heaven realm shook. The white light that penetrated down was like a dazzling sun, and the sky that was originally covered with dark clouds immediately became as bright as day. It was so dazzling that everyone could not open their eyes. They could only feel the crazy vibration coming from under their feet, as if the heaven realm was about to collapse. After a while, a huge deep pit appeared where the beam of light penetrated. Looking from above, it was unfathomable, like a bottomless pit. Most of the monarchs of the Divine Kingdom felt the power of this attack. They did not need to fly to the place where the attack was to know how powerful the attack was. It was definitely enough to destroy an imperial capital. This meant that if the Fengtian Divine Kingdom did not like anyone, they would attack the imperial capital. At that time, the imperial capital would disappear from the world before they could react. This was strength, this was deterrence. Soon, the dark clouds disappeared, and the sky returned to its original state, as if nothing had happened. Many of the king's hands trembled. They turned around and wiped off their cold sweat. Then, they said to the oracle, what kind of agreement do we need to sign? This is a very ordinary alliance agreement. It won't take up the resources of your country. It's just that when necessary, you can gather together and unite with each other. The oracle also wiped his cold sweat, but he was extremely shocked in his heart. No wonder the patriarch announced for them to form an alliance. At first, he thought that he would be chased out, and in the end, he was indeed chased out. However, in less than a short while, a huge reversal occurred. Many who insisted on not joining now chose to join. This immediately made many god envoys feel proud and elated. They all knew that it was the second elder, but they didn't expect him to be so domineering. Most of the monarchs were deeply shocked, and they had no choice but to join. Tianyun, who was on the 10 stars, was observing the situation around him. At the same time, he was constantly receiving information. Successfully formed an alliance with Myriad Beast Divine Kingdom, gaining 18 billion EXP, 500. 000 crazy point, 500. 000 proficiency. Ding, successfully formed an alliance with the Imperial Wind God Nation, gained experience. Ding, after Tianyun showed his power, all the divine kingdoms compromised, let alone the empires. Even the divine kingdoms compromised, how can the empires not compromise? Soon, Tianyun was very satisfied with the experience he gained. It's useless to talk about principles, the key is still strength. Tianyun's eyes narrowed. He already knew this a long time ago. If he isn't strong enough, no one will obey him. It's useless to talk about the evil spirit race. Most people are too lazy to care about it, or they just go their own way. As for regarding Feng Tian Divine Kingdom as the leader of the alliance, it's impossible. Without strength, how can they be the leader of the alliance? Tianyun was well aware of this, so he immediately unleashed a devastating attack to shock everyone. Not only the divine kingdoms outside, but even the Feng Tian Divine Kingdom was shocked. This power is too strong, it's many times stronger than when Tianyun used it before, it's not even on the same level as before. Immediately after Tianyun returned to the palace, Yuanlong immediately greeted him and said excitedly, "They will soon join us, and this is all thanks to you. Grandpa, I told you I have a way, right?" Tianyun smiled knowingly. His mother was also present, and they all gathered together, feeling very excited. But will the evil spirit race really attack soon? Yuanlong asked. Yes, it won't be too long, Tianyun said solemnly. Their expressions are dignified, and their hearts are filled with emotion. Tianyun is shouldering such a heavy responsibility. With such a strong force, it's nothing more than to reduce the number of people dying, and this sense of responsibility is something that many people can only look up to. Child, thank you for your hard work. It's okay, I'm just doing what I can. Tianyun grinned. He doesn't care what others say about him. He doesn't care if they call him a tyrant, as long as he can reduce the number of people dying in the war, he will be happy. He can't take care of everyone, so he must unite so that they can help each other. Then in the remaining time, the divine kingdoms quickly formed an alliance, and at the same time, the necklace continued to be distributed, and the overall situation was good. Many of them were dissatisfied, but in the end they had no choice but to join. Anyway, Tianyun doesn't care what they think, as long as they join, it's fine. Ding, main quest completed. Unify the ghost world. Eradicate all the evil spirit race in the ghost world. Reward: 60 billion EXP, 6 million crazy point, 800,000 SPs. And a new title: King of the Ghost World. King of the Ghost World. Damage increased by 10 times in the ghost world. Ding, main quest completed. Unify the heaven world. Eradicate all the evil spirit race in the heaven world. Reward: 60 billion EXP, 6 million crazy point, 800,000 SPs. And a new title: King of the Heaven World. Chapter 856. Have we finally eliminated all the evil spirit races in the underworld? Tianyun sighed with emotion. If only the heaven realm was as efficient as the underworld, they could easily eliminate them. However, from the looks of the current situation, the progress would not be very smooth, and the speed would be slightly slower. Since the heaven realm did not have any evil spirit races, the overall situation was in a relatively stable state. Without a sense of danger, it would be difficult for them to unite. They would all be fighting against each other, so how could they unite against the outside world? The ancient underworld divine pagoda in the underworld was able to give them a huge impact, which was why they were so fast. What could the heaven realm have? It was because the heaven-sealing divine nations had protected them too well that they had a very poor sense of danger towards the evil spirit race. They thought that there was no such thing, and even thought that they would not attack again. Some were even arrogant enough to think that so what if the evil spirit race came, they could just kick them out. The integration of the heaven realm was basically left to them to handle. Tianyun was staying here to oversee the situation. Right now, he was waiting to complete the main quest before leaving. Right now, there was only the heaven realm left. After completing the last main quest, it could be considered as officially over. Very quickly, things progressed at a moderate pace. Most of them chose to compromise, while a small number chose not to join. This was within expectations. Even in the face of tyrannical power, there were still people who did not choose to join. They just wanted to be the center and did not want to join any faction. This time, Tianyun didn't use force. He only needed to use force in the Divine Kingdom. If it didn't work, he would use temptation. Tianyun's plan was very simple. Good martial arts could be given out as an example. Only then did the other divine nations agree to join. Since the heaven-sealing divine nations was so sincere, how could they not do something? As long as the divine nations joined in, the rest did not matter. In any case, their lives and deaths would have nothing to do with him. If he had the ability to protect himself, then he would protect himself. At that time, even if he knelt down and begged him, it would be useless. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. The work on the alliance had already been completed, and it was all going well. There are still a few that are difficult to take down. One of them is the most difficult to take down. It's a completely hard bone. Yuanlong unfurled the map. The detailed territories were marked on it, including which god nation was in which region. Which one is the hardest to take down? Tianyun, who was at the side, stood up. For the past month, he hadn't been idle. He was either concocting pills or forging weapons. He would never let himself be idle. Taking advantage of the time, he could train his other skills and increase his proficiency. He also wanted to upgrade his mastery of alchemy to the level of a creator. Although he now had a large number of proficiency points and could really level up one of his mastery skills in one go, he was not in a hurry at the moment. Everything depended on the situation. Dragon Clan. Yuanlong shook his head and said, "For a long time, the most overbearing power in the Heaven Realm was the Dragon Clan. It occupies a vast area, and cultivators are not allowed to enter at will. Anyone who tries to barge in will be killed without mercy. If it weren't for the fact that they were emissaries, they would have been killed. The Dragon Clan is extremely resistant to this kind of alliance. They feel that they don't want to form an alliance with us and want to be independent." Yuanlong and the others felt very helpless. They could understand why the Dragon Clan was so resistant. It was because too many people coveted the Dragon Clan's bloodline. This was the same as the Phoenix Clan in the Netherworld. At the beginning, they were also very wary of Tianyun and did not like humans at all. Too many people coveted their blood essence. How could they not be disgusted? After all, they were divine beasts. The bloodline power they contained was so strong. After absorbing it, many cultivators would be greatly enhanced. As expected, the Dragon Clan is more difficult to take down. Tianyun narrowed his eyes and said, "After all, the Dragon Clan is also a foreign race. Back then, when many experts joined forces, the Dragon Clan contributed a lot. Yes, according to the records, the Dragon Clan has an extremely good relationship with our Fengtian Divine Kingdom. After the war, we gradually lost contact. If the emissaries we sent were not from our Fengtian Divine Kingdom, they would have been killed." Yuanlong shook his head. "The Dragon Clan is very strong. Even if they don't ally with us, they still have the power to protect themselves. This is understandable. If there is a war, they will also fight with no regard for their own safety." Tianyun poured tea for them. His expression was indifferent, as if he had already expected this. "Looks like we can only let them be. This time, there is no way we can ally with them." Yuanlong picked up his teacup and took a sip. He felt a little helpless. "Later, I will personally go to the Dragon Clan." Tianyun also picked up his teacup and took a sip. Yuanlong spat out the tea in his mouth. He looked at him in shock and said, "There is no need to be so exaggerated. In any case, the Dragon Clan has allied with us before. Even if we don't ally with them, there is no need to destroy them, right?" "Grandfather, do you think I am so cruel that I will choose to destroy them if they don't join our side?" Yi Tianyun laughed. Yuanlong was a little embarrassed. Yi Tianyun had always used simple and violent methods to suppress enemies who disobeyed him. If the Dragon Clan didn't join them, he really thought that Yi Tianyun would personally go to suppress the Dragon Clan and beat them until they were afraid. "It's fine. I am just going to the Dragon Clan to take a look. It seems that the Dragon Clan is in danger, or has declined greatly. That is why they chose not to join us." Yi Tianyun guessed. "Is that so? That is not very possible. The Dragon Clan has always been very powerful. Even if they are not ranked in the God Nation rankings, their overall strength is definitely one of the best. If they are in danger, they should be asking us for help." Yuanlong frowned. "That is the problem. You said that our Feng Tian Divine Nation has always had a good relationship with them. Even if they don't join us, we should not chase them away." Yi Tianyun laughed lightly. "I boldly guessed that the Dragon Clan is in danger now, and is not as strong as they seem on the surface. The reason they did not join us was mainly because they could not send anyone to help, and did not want to expose their own problems. Although the Feng Tian Divine Nation had a good relationship in the past, who can be sure of the current situation? If their secrets were to be exposed, they might be exterminated. Grandfather, it is not like you don't know that although we are fighting against the evil spirit race together, there is no lack of disloyal existences. They do not care about the evil spirit race, they only want to become stronger." You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.